Rattlers of Florida A&M coming into this ball game looking for their third win on the road. They're led by quarterback Ben Doherty. Let's talk about Ben's performance.
Quarterback Ben Doherty for Florida A&M. He's had a tremendous year throwing the football, coming off a separated shoulder. He throws a 65% completion rate, but what most people don't realize about Doherty, he's the second leading rusher on FAM's team.
The Rattlers, of course, last weekend with 400-plus yards of offense. Doherty responsible for a lot of that for the Rattler offense, so they're going to have to keep an eye on him. Let's flip the ledger now. We'll talk about the defense for the Bison of Howard University, led by Vontre Long.
Vontre Long, the strong safety. Coach Ray Petty of Howard University referred to him as one of the leaders of this team. He's also one of the people on this Howard Bison team in coverage for linebacking. He's one that has to really take a lot of responsibility for the call on this defense.
At our sideline is Miranda Jordan, joining us as usual. Miranda.
Thanks, Charles. I'm not on the sideline. I'm actually in the stands today, in the middle of the Soul Squad. They're getting a little excited, although you really can't tell it right now because the band's coming onto the field. But I'm experiencing a little bit of that Howard fun. Charles.
Thank you, Miranda. That's what we have on tap here from Green Stadium at Howard University. It's homecoming 2003. The Bison hosting the Rattlers of Florida A&M. Back with the kickoff after this. This is FAMU football on UBC TV.
Free.
Free?
You're giving it away free.
Hi, I'm Rob Graham, the president of Vital Base.
Gold Travel. Ford. Stop by your local Ford dealer and check out the all-new 2004 Ford F-150, the only truck tough enough to be a Ford. Delta Airlines. BarrelsWorld.com. Diversity Employment Solutions, your partner in diversity professional hiring. At Diversity Employment Solutions, we look forward to helping minority professionals achieve their career objectives. To find out how we can help you, come visit our website today. Bank of America and Russell Corporation.
University, where the Bison of Howard getting set to host the Rattlers of Florida A&M. Homecoming 2003 for the Bison. You talked about it in the pregame, Mark, or alluded to it. Bison chose a tough opponent in the Rattlers for homecoming.
And sometimes homecoming at Howard is a bit problematic. Last year they played Morgan State for homecoming and lost the game they felt they should win. Now, there may be a lot of people come to this game this afternoon that are coming straight from the party. It's a 12 noon start on Howard's campus. Also last year, Howard defeated FAM 28-24. So that's a little footnote the Rattlers may want to keep in their back pocket.
You talked about that win last year, the Bison down in Tallahassee. Rattlers been pretty successful
won the toss.
Against the Bison here at Green Stadium. Coach Ray Petty got his first win against FAMU last year. So some momentum for the Howard program as they deal with FAMU.
We talked about it in the open, Charles. FAM's won 4 straight in D.C. They're also playing a very familiar surface. They've already played 3 games so far this year on a field turf surface. Green Stadium, a 3-year-old field turf, so the players were out before the game testing new shoes and getting used to the traction outside today.
Both teams relatively young, and we've seen it coming into this first half of the season. Rattlers right now in that 3-game, or looking for their 3rd win on the road. That's a good testament for a team that's young to set that kind of string in motion.
And you make an excellent point, because Howard is exceptionally young on defense. They start 7 sophomores, and on their 2-deep depth chart, there are 7 freshmen. Coach Petty in the pregame talked about his team really coming together, though. This defense of Howard is responsible for a lot of big plays.
Let's talk about the coaching matchup this afternoon. We'll talk about Coach Petty first with the Bison of Howard University. His 2nd campaign here at Howard. Turned the program around the first year. Took him from a losing season to a winning season last year. Seemingly got the type players in that he wants.
He's got the type players in he wants. But you know, there's some unique challenges here at Howard. You're talking about Green Stadium. This field is used every day from 8 in the morning to about 8 in the evening. Soccer team practices here. They have lacrosse, women's soccer, the football team gets a couple of hours sandwich before the band comes out. So some of the practice issues can be a bit problematic for the Bison. Now, on the other hand, FAMU comes in, they've got the big facilities, and they've got a lot of places to stretch out. So sometimes those things can make a difference in your program.
Coach Billy Joe, in his 30th season overall in terms of coaching, his 10th at Florida A&M. In that 10-year stint, has not had a losing season. Starting to accumulate some great accolades in terms of his personal performance as a coach with some good company.
Coach Billy Joe is 81-34 at FAM. It's his 30th year. His overall record as a coach, 232 victories, only 96 losses, and actually 4 ties.
Today's ball game, Rattlers, we talked about going for the 3rd win on the road, but the Rattlers, this is their 5th of 9 home games, games on the road this year.
Well, this is a team known for its ability to travel. You talk about the Lounge Lizard Tour of FAMU. Those of you that may not be familiar with, they only play 3 home games during the season. So between the classics they get invited to and the occasions, the special occasions like a homecoming, the Rattlers are kind of used to just living out of their suitcases.
While they're doing player introductions on green field right now, one of the players, we'll talk about him more as the ball game progresses, Antoine Rutherford, starting at a running back for the Bison this afternoon. 4th on the depth chart coming into the season. A lot of factors contributing to him starting this afternoon.
Had a chance to talk to Antoine during practice on Thursday afternoon. A very soft-spoken young man, a player that really gives a lot of credit to his offensive line, and they're just now starting to get used to a player. As you mentioned, he's the 4th player on the depth chart running back. You know you're in trouble at the beginning of a season when you lose one of your players in a car accident. So Rutherford has stepped in and done an incredible job. He's averaging 6 yards a carry.
That Bison offense overall averaging 4.5 yards per carry, but they've only scored 3 rushing touchdowns. Any concern of Coach Petty regarding that stat?
I think that's one of the results, Charles, of having a very young team, but the way their defense is playing, the defense has actually scored more touchdowns than the offense. They say, you guys go out there and get some points for us.
Well, the Rattlers on offense, of course, they're led by Ben Doherty. We talked about him in the pregame. Rattlers had 421 yards of offense last weekend against Jackson State. Doherty responsible for 340 of those yards.
Yes, he's responsible, but you know the key factor with Florida A&M is that the young offensive line is finally starting to come together and play as a unit.
Bison at 1-3, Rattlers at 4-2. Toss has already been conducted. The Bison will kick it away, so Rattlers will have it first on offense. Could very well be the last time these two teams meet.
And Coach Ray Petty talked about that in practice on Thursday as well. As he addressed his team, he said, this may be the last time the Rattlers come off of Georgia Avenue. Let's give them a nice little going away gift.
Vaughn Waters will kick it away for the Bison of Howard University. Standing deep for FAMU, Roosevelt Kaiser. Kaiser assisted by Michael Fisher. Homecoming 2003 from Howard Stadium on the way. Kaiser backpedals, squeezes it at the 1 for FAMU. Up the gut he goes to the 10, working it left side now. Got a crease there. He's at the 30, dances toward the sideline, out of bounds or bumped down near the 38-yard line. Kaiser with a nice run for FAMU to get him started.
You also got a glimpse of one of the subtle differences between these two squads. Overall team speed of FAMU may be a little bit much for Howard in points.
Expect the Rattlers with Ben Doherty at quarterback to go no huddle in this first few sequences here at Green Stadium. We'll see how they fare against a tough, big Bison defense from Howard University.
Last week, Doherty had an incredible stretch in the second half. He went 17 for 18, thrown for 1,128 yards so far in the season.
It's shotgun set for FAMU. Initial drive of this football game. Doherty slots either side. 5 up front for Howard. Snap to Doherty, looking to his left. Short drop. Now they flush him right side. Doherty raises, fires at the corner. Catch made out in the flats by Jameel Crawford. Crawford banged down after about a 2-yard catch.
We've talked about the FAMU offense. They'll run the spread formation, 2 wide receivers to either side. They have a short set to Pompey. Last option is Doherty running the ball.
2nd down and 8 for FAMU. Pick up a 2 on the catch by Crawford. Doherty showing shotgun set once again. Pompey, the lone setback with him in the backfield. Snap to Doherty, looking upfield, fires to the right corner. Pass overthrown at midfield though, just out of the reach. He was going for Cardan Alexander.
Cardan Alexander on the near side, as you mentioned, working against Rontarius Robertson of Howard. Try to go with a simple out pattern at midfield, just low and outside.
3rd down now for FAMU. 14 minutes, 15 seconds left in this first quarter. We're just underway from Green Stadium. The Bison of Howard University and the Rattlers of Florida A&M. Doherty, shotgun set for FAMU. With the snap, short drop across the middle, tried to get it to Rod Miller, but he threw it behind him. Pass goes incomplete. Bison defense is held on this initial drive.
Bison brought Brian Johnson off the corner that time, forced Doherty to deliver the ball a little bit earlier than he wanted to. Incomplete. First punt for FAM.
That Bison defense scored 6 touchdowns of its own during the course of the season, so they've helped the offense out a bit here at Howard University. Tough defense for Coach Petty and the Bison. Damon Miller to kick it away for FAMU now. Sean Miller stands deep for Howard.
Watch Brandon Finney for FAM. He's number 59.
Damon Miller averaging 41 yards per punt for FAMU. 24th in the nation in 1AA. Another good punt by Miller. Trying to get it inside the 20. It bounces at the 21 and rolls toward the sidelines and out of bounds. We'll step aside for a timeout before the Bison go on offense. This is FAMU football on UBC TV. We are back live at Green Stadium on the campus of Howard University. The Bison just taken over on offense. First play from scrimmage results in about a yard pickup on the carry is Antoine Rutherford.
Nothing fancy. Rutherford, he's the transfer from Virginia Tech. He's averaging 5.9 a carry. Let's just go ahead and round it off to an even 6 yards a carry.
Rutherford with an explosive ball game against the Tigers of Savannah State 2 weeks ago, looking to pick up on that momentum. Marcos Marino at quarterback for the Bison. Had the slot set right side. Now they break it with the tight end sliding left side. Marino going to go up top now. Fires across the middle. Catch going to be made by the tight end near the 40-yard line. Nice aerial from Miller. Catch made downfield by Samuel Buck, the big tight end for the Bison. So the first pass goes complete for the Bison. They pick up a first down at the 41-yard line.
Edward Kwaku in on the tackle for FAM. Howard with his first completion. Nice pass mid-range, right beyond the linebackers.
Marino under center, trips to his right. Rattlers with 3 in the defensive box up front. Miller dances the sideline, now works it back the other way. They're trying to set a screen left side. Catch made by Rutherford. Got some blockers in front of it. Slices to midfield at the 49-yard line. The Bison pick up yet another first down. Looks to be from here.
After last week's game, Rutherford treated his offensive linemen to meals at McDonald's. He said they're about to break me. He bought about $25 worth of value meals. He said this week, if he has a big game, he'll take him to McDonald's again.
Rutherford with a long of 42 yards on the season. They picked up enough for the Bison first down, and they pushed the football into Rattler territory. So the Bison looking crisp on this first drive. Split backfield behind Marino this trip. We're at 12 minutes, 30 seconds remaining first quarter. Marino on the ground. Rutherford left side, banging ahead, but the Rattlers stop him at the line of scrimmage. That Mosquito Coast defense for FAMU swarming there with the stop on Rutherford.
FAMU's defensive unit predicated on the penetration of his linebackers. Like to pinch the defensive ends in from the corner. What Howard's guards may have to do from time to time to see if they stay alert, be in a place to make a trap block. But watch the defensive ends for FAMU on the snap of the ball. They take that 2 steps into the backfield.
Got a chance to see the defensive lineup put up on the screen. Notably absent Sean Kelly for FAMU. Jason Grace out of the lineup as well for FAMU. Both injuries. Kelly out for the season. Marino with a short drop. The whistles at the line of scrimmage. Looks like one of the Rattlers moved inside the neutral zone.
Got about 2 of the interior linemen a little bit antsy off the snap. You talk about the tackles for FAM.
Prior to the snap, ball start, offense, 5 yards from the previous spot, remain second down.
Players that they like to rotate in and out of the game. Number 99, Steve State Felix, and also number 57, John Bama Edwards.
So the assessment going against the Bison, their first of the ball game, came in with 29 penalties assessed against them coming into the ball game, their first this afternoon. So it's second down now, 15 for the Bison. Marino, short drop right side. At the corner, pass thrown and caught at sideline. Nice grab there. Running it downfield is Jonathan Brewer. Brewer near the 35-yard line. A wobbly pass by Marino, but Brewer able to grab it. The run after catch gives the Bison another first.
And glad for Brewer know he's happy to get that first catch on his belt. He only had one catch last week against Savannah State for 13 yards, but he's also a player that contributes a lot as a kick returner for Howard.
Moore, the senior, redshirt from Charlotte, North Carolina, picks up the first down for the Bison.
Bison with 3 wide receivers to one side on the last play, same formation again.
Marino under center. This time FAMU with 4 up front defensively. They move, but they get back on the ground. It's Rutherford for the Bison. Into the secondary of FAMU. Works its way down inside the 25, down near the 24-yard line. And looks like another Bison first down.
The thing you notice about Rutherford right off the top, Charles, he's one of those running backs that has a very gliding type of style. Really doesn't stomp to the line of scrimmage, but he's really light on his feet, able to change direction.
So the Bison very impressive on this first possession. Down to the FAMU 24. Rattler defense has only allowed 6 rushing touchdowns this season as they face Marino. Marino makes it in the line, looking left, raises, fires at the corner, catch made, out in the flats by Gillum. Gillum near the initial line of scrimmage, not any positive yards picked up on the play. But Marino looking sharp with the passes.
You talk about the nature of the linebacking core for Florida A&M. Shedrick Copeland, one of the leading tacklers for this team, very quick on the stop on the last play.
So second down now. They give Gillum 2 on the previous catch, so it's 2nd and 8 for the Bison. They line up with 2 tight ends on the right side. And some confusion at the line of scrimmage. The Bison take the timeout. They started with the 2 tight ends left side, and they worked them right side, but it wasn't the set they wanted, obviously.
And early on in this game, Charles, Howard taking advantage in the battle of field position right off the top.
Timeout taken on the field, 10 minutes, 12 seconds remaining. No score from Green Stadium. You're watching FAMU football on UBC TV. Stadium Bison on their initial drive. They face a 2nd down and 8 at the Rattler 23. Marino, same set before they took the timeout. They run the tight ends right side now on the set. Lone setback is Rutherford. Sprint draw, right side Rutherford, looking for some room on the inside. Got it inside of the 20, down to the 19.
Charles, one of the great battles that's going to take place this afternoon is going to be between center Rich Dorcius of Howard. He's wearing number 72, listed at 6'3", 290. Now he's working against one of the Rattlers' best interior linemen in John Bama Edwards. Dorcius is going to try to get the early advantage as Howard attempts to run the ball.
3rd down and about 4 for the Bison first down now, down at the Rattler 19-yard line. Initial set, triple receivers to the right of Marino. Flanked out left side is Travis Gillum. Guarded by Edward Kwaku, looking to the left for Gillum. They fired out in the flats. Kwaku on the coverage, but Gillum with the catch near the 15, and looks to be enough for the Bison first down.
You know, it's interesting. We have a capacity crowd at Green Stadium, a perfect day for football. Howard driving, but a very polite crowd so far this afternoon as everybody is just enjoying homecoming. But Howard is already in the red zone.
Take a look at the replay there as Marino hit Gillum out in the flats. You could see that coming as he flushed everybody right side. Gillum one-on-one with Kwaku. 1st and 10 for the Bison at the 14 of FAMU. I formation behind Marino. On the line, he gives it to Rutherford. Bang at the line of scrimmage. Rattler defense there plugging the hole. And Rutherford pushed back. May have gotten it to the initial line of scrimmage with the Rattlers with a good surge up front.
First player inside for FAMU, John Torrance, who's actually number 2 on the depth chart at defensive end. What head coach Billy Joe likes to do early on is rotate a lot of fresh players in and out of the defensive front. They're not unusually large, but Joe has the advantage of going to a depth issue where they bring a lot of different players. 2nd down and 8. 8:36 remains first quarter. Bison threatening at the Rattler 12. Marino on the ground. He gives it to Rutherford, looking for some room at the corner. The Rattlers banging hard there, triple teaming on the tackle. Rutherford got it down near the 11. Excellent tackle by Shedrick Copeland in the open field. Caught Rutherford up around the shoulder pads and waited for help. This Mosquito Coast defense is very famous, noted for its pursuit. One player gets there, you expect 3-4 players come with like that rat-a-tat hit right behind him.
Levy Brown in on that stop as well for FAMU. 8 minutes left first quarter. 3rd down play now for Marino and the Bison offense from the Rattler 10. This is the initial drive for Howard. trying to get a spark out of this homecoming crowd. Marino, short drop, looking upfield. Left side now in the end zone, fires it incomplete. Intended at the back of the end zone for Darrell Nunn, the senior wideout from Detroit. But Marino on the move couldn't quite gather himself for a completed pass.
Had Sean Miller wide open at the 5-yard line. He was the slot man, breaking off his pattern, looking back to the quarterback. It seemed to be trying to get to the deeper receiver in the end zone, just low and outside.
Are you thinking baseball here? Incomplete pass by Marino. That'll bring up a field goal situation now for the Bison. It'll be Vaughn Waters to kick it. Put it down at the 17, 27-yard effort. Waters with the kick, got enough leg into it, but he pushed it right side. So Waters misses a field goal. Our score remains Bison 0, the Rattlers 0. 7:39 remains first quarter. We'll step aside for a timeout. This is FAMU football on UBC TV. Quarter. Bison missed on the 27-yard field goal effort, so the Rattlers take it over on offense.
It's almost as if everyone is here waiting for something to happen. When the FAMU defense went to the sideline, St. Felix, Steve that is, was trying to get his team pumped up. Let's see if it had any effect.
Rattlers shotgun set, Doherty. Slots either side. With the snap now on the ground, they give it to Pompey. Pompey works it back to the inside, fighting ahead, churning near the 23-yard line for FAMU. So Pompey's first carry of the football game. As you take a look at Pompey with the football, trying to find that crease back to the inside for FAMU. He'll do that a lot on plays designed to go more on the off tackle. He'll try to come back to the inside.
Pompey's got good footwork. He can make people miss.
Second down, 7 now for FAMU. Doherty with the snap. Here comes the pressure backside, dumps it out in the flats to Pompey. Looking for a block, cuts it back to the inside, past the 25, up near the 26-yard line.
FAMU just couldn't get Terrell Baldwin in space quickly enough. If he was able to seal the corner, Pompey is able to break back and pick up considerable yardage. Give credit to Howard, though, for excellent pursuit.
So it's third down now. And looks to be about 4 for the FAM. 3rd and 7 for FAMU. As Doherty shows shotgun. Slots either side for FAMU. Bison showed blitz, but they pull back. Doherty's in the pocket now. Scrambling, tucking it ahead himself, runs it past the 25, back to the line of scrimmage. Bison defense holds. They'll force the punt for FAMU.
Give credit to Howard. They're showing Ben Doherty a lot of different looks, and they're just not able to get in rhythm so far. Forced into a very quick 3-and-out situation. But the other part of this, they didn't move the chains with field position. They'll be punting, and Howard should receive this punt very close to FAMU territory.
Doherty, second leading rusher for FAMU. There you saw him on the replay with the carry. Got it back to the initial line of scrimmage. So Damon Miller coming on now to kick it away for FAMU. And Sean Miller stands deep for the Bison. Bison are coming at it, but Miller got it away. Left side. May have hit a Bison there near the 37. It goes down near the 26. The Rattlers down it there. Ball was mighty close to Steve Norris. Reserve defensive back for the Bison. Didn't hit him, though, so the Rattlers down it, and the Bison take it over on offense.
Homecoming at Howard, we already have a capacity crowd. There are people standing in the aisles and people outside the fence trying to get a peek in on the stadium. And there are also probably another 30,000 people on main campus for what they call Yard Fest. This game is being simulcast on a video screen on main campus.
We had a chance to partake in the Yard Fest yesterday. Very festive atmosphere on the Howard campus. As you take a look at quarterback Marcos Marino. Marino with trip receivers to his left. No score from Green Stadium. Homecoming 2003 for the Bison. Marino rolling at the corner. Dumps it across the middle. Catch made by Nunn. Nunn working it upfield near the 45-yard line. Marino with the scramble, and Nunn got free for the catch.
Marino so far this year is 37 out of 68, throwing for 55%, respectable. But the other fact about this team, they were out here at 8:30 in the morning with a walkthrough on offense trying to get in sync. And Marino, as you get a look at that last play, rolled and found an open man for a first down.
So Nunn with the catch. And a nice run afterwards to get it up to the 45-yard line. First and 10 for the Bison. Slots to the right of Marino. FAMU 4 up front. on the hand of the late handoff to Rutherford. Rutherford dancing at midfield inside the Rattler secondary and inside of Rattler territory near the first down marker.
And Rutherford shows you why he's a special running back, actually stepping out of the first tackle, breaking it back to the near side and picking up enough yards to move the chains very close for another Bison first down.
So Rutherford coming in 4th on the depth chart for the Bison at the beginning of the year. Car accident and a couple of ankle injuries. Now he's a starting tailback for the Bison, and it's filled in nicely. 2nd down and about a yard. Rutherford 1 yard shy on the previous run. Marino. They're setting a full complement of backs behind him to give it to the last man left side with the carry for the Bison is Tim Waters. Waters works it near the 40-yard line, more than enough for the Bison first down.
What the running attack of Howard is doing, Florida A&M had 10 men in the box on that last defensive alignment. You can look at it from ground level. But as they suck the Florida A&M defense close to the line of scrimmage, you're really setting up the pass. Marino might be thinking about opening it up on this first down call. 1st and
10 for the Bison at the FAMU 41. Most of this first quarter has been played on the FAMU side of the football field. Trips right side of Marino in the pocket, looking up the middle, fired it across the middle. Pass goes incomplete, intended downfield for Sean Miller, but Marino long on the pass.
Sean Miller, team's leading receiver, comes into this game with 28 catches, but 306 yards. But unfortunately, he took a bagel at Hampton University where they shut him out.
So 2nd and 10 for the Bison. Hadn't quite heard it put that way before, Lassiter. 4:08 remains in this first quarter. Marino and the Bison, 2nd and 10. Play fake in the line. Marino looking right side, fires out in the corner. A catch made at the sideline. Nicely done by Travis Gillum. Gillum got it inside the 35. Down near the 34, short of the first down marker, though.
Also, what coaches love to see downfield, if you can look at number 28, Darrell Nunn, the other wide receiver, trying to throw a block downfield. Watch it, Nunn, right there, number 28, right side of your screen, trying to pick someone off on the Florida A&M defense.
Julian Worley in on the stop for FAMU, and you take another look at it from behind the line of scrimmage. Gillum with the grab for the Bison. His 2nd catch may have been a face mask at the end of that play as well. No call, though. 3rd down. Less than 3 for the Bison first. Movement at the line of scrimmage, and we'll check it out.
While we're checking out the flag, excellent contingent of fans seated on the far sideline. That used to be the home side here at Green Stadium. So we're our press box.
Snap, ball start, offense, 5 yards from the previous spot, remain 3rd down.
Our press box is on the side that formerly was the visiting side, and I understand there are plans to try to re-expand the stadium that would make the home side back on the original home side.
I think we followed that. Green Stadium seats 10,000 plus.
And he's saying that with his fingers crossed.
As the assessment goes against the Bison, if there's been one problem they've had thus far in this first quarter, it's been the penalties. 3rd down play now. Marino scrambling right side, tried to dump it out to Rutherford in the flats, but the pass thrown incomplete. Looked to be a screenplay design from the line of scrimmage, but they never actually got it developed.
And credit Jeff Green for FAM, number 13, really getting into the backfield and throwing the timing off of that attempted screenplay. Now Howard continues with the battle of the punts in this first quarter.
If you don't score, one of the things you want is to maintain that field position. Right now, the Bison have kept the Rattlers kind of pent on their side of the field. We'll see if Doherty and the FAMU offense can change some of that on this exchange of the football. Waters to kick it, trying to get it inside of the 20-yard line for the Coffin corner. And they're going to mark that outside the 20 as he kicked it out of bounds. So 3:36 remains in this first quarter. Bison nothing, Rattlers nothing. We'll step aside for a timeout. Back with more. This is FAMU Football on UBC TV. Live at Green Stadium on the campus of Howard University. The Rattlers take it over on offense. The punt by Waters was inside of the 20. They mark him out at the 12, so that's where FAMU starts on offense. Doherty looking at a spread 4-man front by the Bison. Movement inside the neutral zone, but the nose guard got back. Doherty with the snap now. Looking to his right, to flush him left side. Now he raises, fires across the middle, pass batted around. Tipville, pass goes incomplete. It is intended downfield for Jameel Crawford, but the Bison near an interception there.
That's the player we talked about at the top of the game, Montre Long.
Long with the breakup. And I believe our Miranda Jordan is at sideline. Miranda
Thanks, Charles. I'm here with Carolyn Collins, the president of the National Alumni Association. Miss Collins, you've been really busy lately. Tell us why.
We've been very busy because we're actually trying to kick off a campaign to put 450 new brand uniforms on the band. We're also doing the election for the National Alumni Association for the next election year. In addition to that, we're trying to increase our membership to support the university, and we have a new board of trustees with the educational governance, and we're trying to make sure that Florida A&M University and Dr. Fred Gaines is protected, and there's no loss at our university as we move forward and celebrate our 116th birthday.
I'm sure you will accomplish all those goals. Let's go back upstairs to Charles.
Thank you, Miranda. While we were away, Doherty on a keeper for FAMU runs it up near the first down marker, 3rd down and less than 2. FAMU trying to sneak it in on the right side to get the first down, but looks to be shy.
I don't think he picked it up, Charles. Doherty really, as we've seen him do throughout the season, when he gets frustrated with his outside receivers, he'll decide to take it himself, try to just push something out of the middle behind his center, which Baez has actually been a very good player as a senior, number 77, I should say, for Florida A&M. He's 6'4", 275. They're going to go to the sideline and perhaps come out for a measurement on that last push, but judging by the chain, it's going to be very close.
Sure.
And I think he's going to miss it by about a half yard.
Yeah, if you eyeball it from up here, it seems like the change would be needless in this situation. But they do pull them out just to take a look at it.
Got a
nice
quick
camera work at sideline there, taking a look at it, and even before they stretch it, it's in front of the football.
So Howard's defense is held once again. They're showing it to be about a foot shy of the first down.
We're talking about homecoming 2003 here at Howard University. So many alums returning for it, and celebrities as well as some noted national politicians. There's one on the screen there, the Reverend Al Sharpton, presidential candidate for 2004.
Al Sharpton just right below us, enjoying the festivities. Howard has been well known in the past for really being a magnet for a lot of people that are in the public eye.
Can't tell if he's working on a hot dog there or a Philly cheesesteak.
That may be a little bit TMI there. Too much information.
I guess so. Miller to kick it away for FAMU. And Sean Miller stands deep for the Bison. High kick by Damon Miller. Sean Miller calling for the fair catch at the 40-yard line, and that's where the Bison offense takes it over. 2:17 remains in this first quarter. And the Rattlers scoreless.
Talk about the nature of these two teams being very similar coming in. Howard really plays with a lot of speed on defense. Not very big. Bam, not very big. Plays with a lot of speed on defense. If there's any difference, Howard has had a slight advantage during the season being able to run the ball a little bit more effectively.
Marino and the Bison back on offense from their own 40. The slot is to the right of Marino. I formation behind him. FAMU 4 up front defensively. Marino in the line. He gives it to Rutherford. Banged at the line of scrimmage. He saw a hole, but the Rattlers closed it real quickly and push him back into the backfield.
And if you don't make the Florida A&M linebackers pass conscious, they're going to start loading the lineup and use that speed to really pursue. It's a great matchup on Rutherford. Watch how they just stack it up the line of scrimmage. There's nothing doing. First contact and then the pursuit. That's been the trademark of Florida A&M all season long.
They found the hole and plugged it. And in the process, they plugged Antoine Rutherford.
There's Bama Edwards, number 57.
So it's second down now, 9.5 for the Bison. Under 2 minutes remains, 1:38. Marino fires up the flats pass, underthrown and incomplete, intended for Travis Gillum, the sophomore from Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Trying to work inside of a player for the Rattlers that had an excellent season so far. Julian Worley has 22 tackles and total of 22 solo tackles. He's the second leader on this FAMU team, number 12 out of Camden, New Jersey.
Take a look at that replay and one more look at it from ground level. Marino just slightly underthrowing the pass to Gillum.
Julian Worley also going with the orange spats this afternoon as FAMU is in their all whites.
3rd and 10 for the Bison. Now trips to the left. At quarterback Marcos Marino out in the flats. Get the football into the hands of Darrell Nunn. Nunn working it near midfield. Looks like he's got enough for the Bison first down. Nicely disguised play by the Bison offense. And they move the chains inside of Rattler territory.
Darrell Nunn comes into this game with an 8.5-yard average. Only has 10 catches, but makes the most out of them. They pick up the first down. It's exactly what Howard is doing. They seem to be taking a page out of the FAMU playbook. Short passing game, run after catch, pick up the first down. Not trying to get up big chunks, but just move the chains.
Had a chance to talk to Coach Petty on Thursday at practice, and that's what he said. He wants this young team just to stay focused on their assignments and minimize mistakes. So far, the Bison have done that. Whistles at the line of scrimmage.
Timeout, FAMU.
Timeout taken on the field. This one by the Rattlers of FAMU. 1:07 remains first quarter.
If there was any theme to this game coming in, Charles, that movie Twins kept coming to mind, because both teams coming into the offseason, Howard lost 22 seniors. They had a lot of losses due to injuries. They tried to load up in the offseason by going the junior college route. FAMU, on the other hand, had a similar situation. They're trying to build depth. They went the junior college depth route and picked up 31 players that are transfers from other schools.
And notably in this ball game this afternoon, Sean Kelly, we saw a couple of weeks ago on UBC TV, was injured in that ball game, out for the remainder of the season. Jason Grace, the small, diminutive linebacker, but packs a big punch. He's out of this contest as well. Rattlers may be trying to make some personnel adjustments to keep that defense soft.
Well, let's talk about the plugger, though. The player that they discovered was a freshman, Brandon Whaley, who all of a sudden in just 4 games is the 3rd leading tackler on the FAMU squad. Comes in with 29 tackles, so Whaley playing the inside position was like finding a piece of gold in a gold mine.
After the timeout by the Rattlers, we come back to live action. 1st and 10 for the Bison. After the pickup by Darrell Nunn on the catch. Marino with a split backfield behind him. Rattlers showing blitz movement at the line of scrimmage. Don't know if FAMU jumped early. The snap was made.
There's movement on both sides of the play, as there were FAMU defensive linemen jumping, Howard offensive linemen jumping in response.
Offside, defense, 5 yards from the previous spot, remain first down.
Get the Rattlers for being in the neutral zone, so the Bison pick up 5 the easy way.
We've played this entire game already, winding down within the last minute of the first quarter. Played it all the way just about in between the 30 and the 50-yard line.
So 1st and 5 for the Bison now on the ground. Rutherford right side. Got a good catch at the jersey by Leon Scott to put the hold and hit on Rutherford behind the line of scrimmage.
Leon Scott is one of those players on FAMU defense that's changed positions. He started out the season as a defensive end. They moved him inside to take advantage of his quickness.
So Scott with the grab of Rutherford held on, but there was a flag on that play as well.
They're signaling this against Florida A&M. This may pick up another first down for them. Keeps the drive alive with just 59 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Scott was chasing on the play.
Face pass, defense, 5 yards from the end of the run, automatic first down.
And as he reached out to grab him, no doubt grabbed that face mask.
Now this is where you need your big play guys to step up. Number 11 for FAMU, Levy Brown, is just exhorting his defensive team to kind of pay attention, stay in the game. This kind of the momentum is kind of lull you to sleep right in through here.
Marino and the Bison with a 1st and 10 from the FAMU 39 now. 3 receivers to the right of Marino. Bam dropping back in coverage. Marino trying to set a screen left side to get it to Rutherford. Rutherford banged at the line of scrimmage. That swarming deep into the Rattlers, just picking at him and picking at him with the shots. They pull him down after a 3-yard catch.
Chris Sessions, linebacker for FAM, number 33. He's the big hitter, but in trying to get such a big hit on Rutherford, he didn't get a solid shot on him. Watch the first contact. You'll see number 33 come into your screen. On the screen, Sessions right there misses on the tackle, and Rutherford tacks on about another 5 or 6 yards.
4 Rattlers in on that hit there, each of them taking a shot at Rutherford. They finally pull him down.
But what Sessions got to do, Charles, he's got to get a solid shot in, not try to go for the showtime hit.
That'll be the last play of this first quarter as we come to the end of the first quarter. Still no score between these two teams. The Bisons of Howard University and the Rattlers of Florida A&M will step aside and get you started for the second. This is FAMU football on UBC TV. Back live at Green Stadium on the campus of Howard University. We go into the second quarter. Charles Ward, Mark Laster, Miranda Jordan with the play call. Nothing as we start the second.
You know, it's a slow afternoon when people have to entertain themselves with the slow motion wave.
Slow motion at that. The Bison looking to energize the crowd, though. They face a 2nd down and 7. Rutherford working it right side, banging straight ahead near the 26-yard line. Enough for the Bison first down. We talked about his footwork, so explosive from the line of scrimmage.
Also very smooth, just seems to glide to the line of scrimmage. Watch him take the handoff from ground level and explode right here. That's Levy Brown, number 11, that gets a shoulder in at the end of that last play.
Rutherford with 8 carries and 27 yards in that first play. Big ground gainer as we start the second from Rutherford. Howard with 126 yards of total offense. Van Newman just 18 in that first quarter. 1st and 10 for the Bison now. From the 27, Rutherford once again wrestled down at the line of scrimmage. Good defensive surge by FAMU. Coming up with the stop for the Rattlers is Chris Sessions.
Also in on the tackle. First time we called the name of Brandon Whaley. He'll get an assist on that last play. He's lined up inside wearing number 53.
That first quarter, Marcos Marino 9 of 13 from 93 yards in the air. Ben Doherty just 2 of 5, with just 5 yards via the air for FAMU. 2nd down and 10 for the Bison now at the Rattler 27. Marino with Rutherford a lone setback. He'll take a straight drop. Looking upfield. He's got some time going to the end zone. Threw it over the wrong shoulder. Had a man there. It was intended downfield for Travis Gillum. Gillum covered by Whaley in the end zone. But Marino threw it over the wrong shoulder for Gillum.
Gillum actually had the defensive back turned around just a bit, trying to go with a deep corner route into the end zone. So Howard getting a little bit more aggressive as they're approaching FAMU's 20-yard line.
3rd down and 10 as we take a look at the replay. Marino, there you see Gillum's route was to the inside, but Marino's pass thrown to the outside of the field, incomplete. Nice camera look. 3rd and 10 for the Bison now. Marino on the delayed handoff to Rutherford. Rutherford bangs ahead, lost the shoe that went airborne. Some 20 yards in the air. They put the hit on Rutherford near the 20-yard line, short of the first down marker.
That's something you don't see every day.
Not often.
The shoe was just launched like a short mortar shot at the contact of that last play. You get a ground level shot of Darrell Nunn, number 28 for Howard. But as it stands, we've got a very interesting play call coming up for the Bison. 4th down, about 3.
They show they're going for it on 4th. Evan Tyson, the lone setback behind Marino.
3 receivers to the left side.
Gillum flanked right side. Marino, short drop, looking for Gillum. Out in the flats, overthrows Gillum at the sideline. Rattler defense holds. FAMU will take it over on offense.
Credit Julian Worley dropping into coverage. Also had inside help from Justin Cooper. So trying to throw into that double team, nothing open. And Howard was actually fortunate that that pass was thrown incomplete.
Marino unloaded the pass real quick. May have felt some pressure up front from the FAMU defensive line.
That'll be
out of the reach of Gillum.
Interesting to see what Coach Billy Joe for FAM decides to do. Been very conservative so far. See if he allows Doherty to open up a bit.
18 yards of offense in the first quarter. Conservative is the word. They go on the ground, though. Here comes Pompey. Pompey working it upfield, near midfield, inside of Bison territory, near the 47-yard line.
Pompey does some things from time to time, Charles, that are very subtle in changing direction. He got into the secondary, and if we have it, watch him change direction, not once, but twice. Makes the first move. That here's the cutback coming up. Right there, a very subtle move. Gets in between 2 defenders and tacks on another 10 yards.
So the Rattlers move it inside of Bison territory for the first time in this football game. Shotgun set for Doherty now. Looking upfield across the line of scrimmage. He goes with the pass to Pompey. Pompey dances back toward the left side. Pickup of about 4 for FAMU.
One thing that Coach Billy Joe loves about his running backs, they all do an excellent job of catching the football. Out of the backfield, you'll see them throw a lot to Pompey.
Pompey with 18 catches coming into today's ball game.
Paul Sharp, he's number 2, number 32 at fullback, not in the game now, but another player with great hands. 2nd
down for the Rattlers now. 2nd down and 7. 12-14 remains in this second quarter of action. No score between the Bison of Howard and the Rattlers of Florida A&M. Doherty in the shotgun now for FAMU. They flush it left side. Doherty going to keep it himself. Bangs ahead near the 41-yard line. 3 Bison in on the stop of Doherty.
Doherty with just a 2-step drop, but you could see Cardan Alexander going deep down the sideline. He was open at about the 20, but with that short drop, as you get a look at Doherty, looks once, and once he decides it's not there, he's going to take it himself. Very decisive at quarterback.
3rd down now, 6 for FAMU. with the snaps, darkening, looking left side now. Across the middle, he fires with the catch. Rod Miller for FAMU. Miller bounced down near the 26. He lost the football. We'll see if they rule him down. No, they don't. Football belongs to the Bison of Howard University. Miller with the catch that they put a hit on and 3 Bison do, and they force him to cough it up.
They're going to credit number 3, Stephen Norris of Howard, with the recovery on the pass completion to Rod Miller right across the middle. There's Miller. Tries to turn upfield. You can see the arm come in and then just kind of leveraged away on the hit.
Antoine Bethea actually trying to reach in there to strip it out of there for the Bison on defense. You see him coming into your screen right there with the right arm, and he ripped it out of there from Miller. So the Bison have it on offense now. So FAMU's first turnover of the ball game. 11:28 comes in the second quarter.
The pace of the game starting to gradually pick up a bit.
Marino with an I formation behind him. Sprint out left side. There comes Rutherford now. Rutherford with a big run for the Bison up near the 37-yard line.
Last week, Rutherford got the attention of the Savannah State Tigers. He had 47 yards on the first carry of the game. And you see he has that explosiveness. Once he gets into the secondary, really turns into more of a track man than a running back.
Take a look at him on the replay. Nice balance on the run by Rutherford. Working on a good set of numbers rushing the football thus far.
Talk about the big play capability of the Howard defense. That's their 4th forced fumble.
Let's take a look at Rutherford. His stats on the ground. Here they come with the football right side. It's Waters this time. Waters working toward the sideline. Levy Brown holding on, but Waters works it up near the 42, perhaps to 43 for the Bison.
It's interesting about football too, Charles. You can sometimes tell when they're hitting picks up a notch in intensity. On the last drive for FAM, you can see the players starting to get into more of a rhythm, and now FAM's defense is trying to answer with picking up its intensity.
Bison face a 2nd down and 6 from their own 43-yard line with 10:33 remaining first half.
Expected a very competitive game. I don't know if I expected a scoreless game in the first quarter.
Slot is to the left of Marino. I formation behind him. Lost the football at the line of scrimmage. Has to scramble and dive on it. That'll bring up 3rd for the Bison.
Fortunate for Marino that the ball came back towards him as he's leaning towards center at the line of scrimmage.
So they lose about a half yard. Marino looks to the Coach Rayford Petty to get the play call. Let's go to Miranda Jordan at sideline. Miranda.
Thanks, Charles. I'm here with the first female athletic director at Howard University, Sandra Noel Thomas. That's an honor, isn't it?
It is indeed an honor to be able to serve alma mater in this position. I have been involved in athletics for over 30-some years, and to be named the athletics director at your alma mater has got to be a great honor.
Let's talk about this field turf. It feels pretty good. How'd you guys pull that off?
When I first was appointed as athletic director, I knew at that point that we have so much use on the field. We only have one field. We don't have a practice field. And so the administrative, Dr. President Swaggart, and his administration were so cooperative in knowing that we needed to do this for the safety and the protection of our students. And so we put down the AstroTurf, and this is our third year playing on it. And we are just elated with it completely and totally. And we have band practice, we have soccer, men and women's soccer, we have intramurals, physical education classes, ROTC, lacrosse, and then the track, and football practice and games. So it was something that we needed to do for our students in order to be able to protect them.
And listen, Charles, she's been out here high-fiving the players on the sideline, too. Let's go back upstairs.
Well, she's got to be awfully happy at what's happening on the turf here at Green Stadium, because the Bison are indeed moving the football. They're down at the Rattler 44-yard line now. 2nd down and about 2 on the ground. They give it to Rutherford right side. Electric saves a possible Bison touchdown, but Rutherford runs for the Bison first.
If not for the contact by Chris Sessions, Rutherford might be doing a little dance in the end zone, because once again he shows that burst on the slant. Watch Rutherford, and Sessions just barely get in with the arm tackle.
But it's enough for the Bison. First down. 8:37 remains first half. As you take a look at it from behind the defense, coming out of the pack is Rutherford. The left side, Levy Brown trailing. So we'll get credit for the tackle. It's 1st and 10 for the Bison. Marino, short drop, fires it out in the flats. Catch made by Gillum, runs right into some traffic. Edward Kwaku with the stop on Gillum.
Kwaku holds his ground at the corner position. He's been, again, one of the leaders from that spot, because when FAMU loads up at linebacker, it really exposes the cornerbacks. Kwaku has 2 losses for sacks. Might want to add a 3rd on that last play because that was very close to the line of scrimmage.
Kwaku was one-on-one covering one of the receivers up top. The receiver, his responsibility was to take Kwaku out the upfield. Catch by Gill. Kwaku held it back.
Rattlers run safety to the corners.
Take a look at some of the fans here at Green Stadium enjoying homecoming 2003. Marino on the ground now. Rutherford left side into that secondary again. Rutherford working it down near the 25. And Rutherford, a wrecking machine for the Bison right now, running it for the first down.
You ever meet a player off the field who's very quiet and soft-spoken, but you put him in some pads, and this is what happens. Watch the handoff. Rutherford just burst into the secondary and picks up another first.
You described it very well. When you look at his stride, it looks just like a track and field stride.
He opens up very well. The length between the stride is one of the widest you'll ever see from a running back.
1st and 10 for the Bison. On the move once again at the Rattler 20-yard line. Marino kept it himself and pushes the pack and himself near the 17-yard line.
He'll be very close to another first down if he didn't pick it up, and gets a very polite round of applause from the Howard crowd.
They saw something on the inside. The Rattlers lined up with such a wide gap in terms of that defensive front. Marino saw it at the line and kept it himself. 2nd down and less than 2 for the Bison. First down now. And they go on the ground. Rutherford wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Rattlers finally got a surge up front and put the stick on it.
The challenge for Howard, Charles, working against this very quick Rattler defense is to diversify their offense, not just show Rutherford if they want to be effective, because Florida A&M has enough speed to just keep their linebackers to the line of scrimmage and start keying on those plays.
Concerned Rattlers at the sideline. Concerned, no doubt, about this young man, Antoine Rutherford, how they can shut him down.
Talked about feeling very confident going into the Savannah State game. They lost 3 running backs, as you mentioned. The top 2 guys, Jay Colbert and Keon Coleman. Coleman actually suffered a broken leg versus Hampton.
Timeout comes to the line of scrimmage, but they take a timeout instead. 6:12 remains in this first half of football from Green Stadium. Still no score between the Bison and the Rattlers. Timeout. This is FAMU football on UBC TV. .6:12 remaining in this first half of football. The Bison facing a 3rd down and about 4 for the first down. Took a timeout to talk it over. We'll see what they come up with in terms of the play. Marino play fake in the line. Pressure. They flush him right side. He's got some room in front of him. Brown takes his legs from under him. But it looks like that's going to be enough for the first down. Marino got it inside of the 15 near the 14-yard line.
John Torrance from his defensive end position was just trying to get there. Didn't have enough gas in the tank. He's listed as a huge 290, just not able to run down the quarterback. Got to the outside for Howard and deep into Rattler territory.
Levy Brown on the stop, but after Marino runs it for the first, they mark it down. Generous marking on the play at the 12. So 1st and 10 for the Bison now from the 12 of FAMU. High formation behind Marino. He gives it to Rutherford. Rutherford angles back to the inside of the 10, down near the 8.
Nice to see him try to work and get that last couple of yards with the back pedal. Took the contact by FAMU, so he not only has the speed, but he also has a little bit of strength to throw in there at the end of that run.
So that'll make it 2nd down. It's about 6 for the Bison first down. They can get a first before touchdown. Marino with an I formation behind him on this set.
Got the FAMU defense very spread out down here.
They split the backs. Marino short drop, fires at the 5. Catch made. Nicely done by Jonathan Brewer to wrap it up. Levy Brown and Julian Worley in on the stop for FAMU.
Excellent pursuit by Brown and Worley on the corner. Once he made the catch, there was no space on the sideline.
So 3rd down play for the Bison. 3rd and 1 for the first down as you took a look at the replay.
Bison also going no huddle right here.
Everybody did everything right on that play. Catch and the tackle. 3 backs behind Marino. Give it to the last man, right side. Bang at the line of scrimmage. Rattlers stretch him out down the sideline. We'll see if he got any forward progress.
Rutherford trying to do some running in traffic that time, but credit the pursuit by FAMU, one of the last players up. Number 26, Chris Gilchrist. Kind of disconcerting to see a linebacker wearing 26, but Gilchrist, one of those players that doubles up for FAMU. We talked about the cornerbackers. You could put Gilchrist in that category.
Short did not get the first down as you take a look at Gilchrist.
4th down, and they're going to go for it.
4th for the Bison, 4th and 1 for the first. Rutherford lone setback behind Marino.
A rise out of the crowd.
Marino, short drop left side looking, fires out the flat pass, goes incomplete. They were asking for a flag, and one comes in there. Sean Miller is out in the flats. He was covered downfield by Michael Foreman. And Foreman, trying to catch up with Miller, may have grabbed him from behind.
Foreman turning to officials who are actually discussing it to determine they're going to call a hold on that last pass attempt, the simple out route. But Foreman is befuddled at this point, trying to wonder where the flag came from.
Miller had run the simple out route and had about a step on Foreman. They're saying that Foreman grabbed him to catch up.
They're calling a hold now. That
holding, defense.
Holding is charged against FAMU.
Half the distance to the goal line.
Automatic first.
Automatic first for the Bison. They keep the football.
That'll make it 1st and goal.
Rattlers with 51 penalties coming into today's ball game. That one a critical one by Foreman.
There was ever a challenge for the FAMU defense. It's right here, Charles. They've got the benefit, Howard, that is of the penalty call. 1st and goal now from about the 2-yard line.
That's where they'll put it down. It'll be 1st and goal to go for the Bison from there. 3:51 remains first half. No score, but the Bison right down at the door, getting set to knock on it on this play.
Everybody packed in
set
tight
behind Marino. On the ground, they give it, but well, Marino's going to keep it right side, trying to work the corner, but the Rattlers grab him and pull him down and depend on the mark. He may have lost a couple of yards on it.
That's Levy Brown, number 11, in on pursuit, gets a little celebration from Kwaku, number 21, for FAMU. If you don't make the penetration and at the point of attack quickly, Florida A&M has enough speed to close that hole in a hurry, and that's exactly what they did on the last play.
They pushed the football back to the 5-yard line with a good surge up front by Levy Brown.
You've either got to use your big offensive lineman if you're Howard to get some space wedged out quickly on the snap, but if it's a slow developing play to the outside, they don't have too much speed, and they'll close it out as they did as you get another look at it.
We take a look at that play. Julian Worley actually doing the wrap-up on Marino. So 2nd and goal to go for the Bison now. Rattlers trying to surge. Rutherford's got it left side. Had a hole. Fights his way. Touchdown, Bison.
No call yet.
There it is, far side. Touchdown for the Bison as Rutherford got in left side. They put an initial hit on him, but Rutherford, so game, took it in for the Bison.
I'm glad you have better eyes than I do, because I was looking inside, and there was very delayed reaction, but the line judge, as you mentioned, made the call from the outside. Howard goes up over.
So the Bison at homecoming 2003, they score first to the delight of the crowd at Green Stadium. Waters to try the point after. Marino to hold. Got it airborne, and he drives it through. The Bison lead at 7-0 over the Rattlers of Florida A&M. 3 minutes remaining first half. This is FAMU football on UBC TV.
Your baby CD is a keepsake you'll treasure.
The Bison have struck first. They lead at 7-0 on this 4-yard run from scrimmage by Antoine Rutherford. Got roughed up a bit, but got it in. Back to live action now. On the kick for the Rattlers. On the return, it's Dennis Johnson. Johnson working at left side, up near the 38-yard line. As you see Rutherford coming up after the touchdown run for the Bison. And Mark, one of the ways that you defeat a Gulf Coast offense like the Rattlers of Florida A&M is to keep them off the field. And the Bison surely did it on that last drive. 16 plays, 8 minutes and 28 seconds off the clock. 75-yard drive, capped off with the 4-yard run by Rutherford.
Florida A&M's offense has been missing from the football field for the majority of the second quarter. You look up and you're already under 3 minutes to go before the half. Ben Doherty thinking now, what do I have in my 2-minute drill playbook?
Let's see if the Doc can make the FAMU offense rock here on this possession. They take it from their own 37. Shotgun set for Doherty. Slots either way. Pompey joins him in the backfield. There's a snap on the ground. They give it to Pompey, angling back right side, past the 40, up near the 43-yard line.
Judging by the defensive philosophy of Howard, they'll let Florida A&M have that play all day long. They've got their linebackers cheated just far enough back to try to eliminate the short passing game of Florida A&M.
2 minutes, 37 seconds remains first half. Doherty going to go under center this trip. Receivers in that same slot either side. Fake the reverse to Miller. Up the middle they go to Pompey. Pompey got some second freedom there now. Works it at the 30. Turns back the other way. Pompey at the 20. It's a foot race. They grab him and pull him down near the 10. But Richard Pompey on the ground gives the Rattlers a chance to score.
And the key move was thrown at about the 30-yard line as Pompey, once again, with the shuttle dip of the shoulder pad, changes direction, breaks it to the outside, and gets deep into Howard territory. Watch Pompey from ground level. Gets into the secondary. One move. Here's the second subtle move coming up right there and gets to the sideline. Another 15 yards. He doesn't make the big flashy move, but he has enough ability to change direction while going top speed and make people miss.
Personal foul.
Take another look at it.
Face mask on the defense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
As you look at the replay, there was a face mask coming in at the end of that play, so the Rattlers will have that tacked on at the end of the run by Pompey.
Pompey is listed at 5'10", 200 pounds. Had an excellent game against one of the more unlikely teams, University of Florida, that FAMU matched up against early in the season. Had 63 yards.
So it's first and goal to go for FAMU now. 2:18 remains in this first half. They trail at 7-0. Doherty and the Rattlers trying to bring it back to even. Shotgun for Doherty. With the snap on the ground, he gives it Pompey, working it left side, but met at the line of scrimmage. Bison's got a great surge up front. 3 or 4 defenders on the stop of Pompey.
So far, the Bison defense that has really led this team through the season with its very aggressive play, making an excellent stand on the last drive by Pompey.
Tariq Amen on the initial hit of Pompey. So it's second and goal to go for FAMU. Slots either side for Doherty. They're tight. Pompey, it's a lone setback with him. About 1:40 remaining first half.
Watch Rod Miller.
There's the snap. Doherty rolling right side. He'll tuck it into himself. Doherty looking for the end zone. Dives in. Touchdown, Rattlers. So the Rattlers strike right back. Bison score. Doherty on the keeper.
You could see the eye contact between Rod Miller, who was a hot receiver in the slot, and Doherty. Rod Miller was covered. He decides to take it himself. Doherty, that is, cuts it back in for the FAMU touchdown.
So Juan Vasquez coming on down the final corner after for FAMU. 4 of 7 in point after opportunities for FAMU. Few have been blocked against the Rattler special teams, but Vasquez on now to try to tie it at 7.
The way this game is going, Charles, every extra point is important.
Kaiser will hold. High snap to get it down, though. Vasquez with the kick. He drives it through, and we're tied at 7 apiece. 1:31 remains first half. Rattlers strike back 7-7 your score. This is FAMU football on UBC TV. A 4-play, 57-yard drive by the Rattlers. Took up 1:24 seconds. The final play on that drive. This run by Ben Doherty from 5 yards out. And just like that, we're tied again at 7 apiece.
At 2:15, Ben Doherty is a load to tackle, and a lot of people are surprised by that. Nothing fancy. Sees those one open, takes it himself.
Vasquez with a deep kick for FAMU. Backpedaling are the special team players for the Bison, but they watch it go into the end zone. The Bison will bring it out from the 20 with 1:31 remaining first half.
Coach Billy Jones, coaching staff, been trying to get more depth out of Juan Vasquez as you get a look at Ben Doherty on the sideline out of Elma, Washington, actually born in Wiesbaden, West Germany.
But you also didn't know that Doherty is a Mormon. We'll step aside for a timeout. 1:31 left first half. We're tied at 7 apiece. The Bison and the Rattlers. This is FAMU football on UBC TV. At Green Stadium on the campus of Howard University, 7-7 your score. Bison after the kickoff take it from their own 20-yard line. Miller in motion. Marino short drop, fires out the flats. On the comeback is a catch by Brewer. Brewer back to the inside. May have gotten a yard, but that's it.
Talk about the adjustments that teams sometimes make on the last reception. Wale Kwaku of FAM. Very quick on the hit in that last curl pattern Howard attempted to run on the side of the field he was defending. You might want to take a look at the FAMU linebackers as this game evolves as you get a look at the sideline.
The Rattlers took a timeout. We'll step aside as well. 1:20 remains first half. We're tied at 7 apiece. This is FAMU football on UBC TV. We come back to live action. 1:20 seconds remains first half. Rattlers took the timeout, no doubt, trying to see if they can't get another shot on offense. Marino, though, on the ground with the football to Rutherford. Rutherford bobbled up behind the line of scrimmage. Rattlers played that play well. And they get Rutherford down behind the line. He may have lost a couple. Rattlers going to take another timeout.
Excellent play by Cedric Copeland, breaking down off the corner. He's the leading tackler for the Rattlers. Got into the backfield, and FAMU now taking another timeout is thinking offense if they can get another stop.
Sure, they got to stop on Rutherford on the previous play. A minute 13 left.
Let's talk a minute about the crowd here. There are people on the second, or I guess that's the fourth tier of the School of Business, which is behind the corner of one of the end zones. It's packed in the street. We're one block off of Georgia Avenue. They're in the windows of Cook Hall, which is right across the way. You know, if there was an architect, you can see the crowd. If there was an architect that you could hire that would create the home side, what you want to do is take it over the street and build it right on the roof of Cook Hall. Then you could expand the stadium to maybe 25 or 30,000 people.
What you're looking at on the screen are the
That's
students
the School
up
of
there at
Business.
School of Business.
That's one of the, actually, it's one of the better seats of the house because it's not that far away from the playing field. We're very compact. This is almost like the college version of Wrigley Field.
Absolutely right. Stadium only seats 10,500. And at homecoming, it is definitely a challenge.
Did you say 10,000?
I did.
You counting the standees also? Ah, the untold story. These two schools have a tradition of competition. You got the quad on one hand at Howard, and at FAMU, you have the set. We're going to go back into this after this next
Absolutely.
play.
Marino on the ground. He gives it to Rutherford right side. With Rutherford looking for a block. He's banged down hard. Stop made by Sessions near the 20-yard line. The Bison will have to punt it away. So the Rattlers, with a minute running now, clock running at 58 seconds, will have a shot.
We talk
on
about
offense.
how close these two teams are. Howard has Ananda Lewis of MTV fame. FAMU has Pam Oliver. Howard has Green Stadium. FAM has Bragg Memorial. I mean, you got to make a decision at some point. But really, when it comes down to Florida Avenue Grill versus M&M, you got to really make a call. That's a tough choice.
So Vaughn Waters will kick it away for the Bison now. Standing deep for FAMU is Anthony Demps.
I'm going to have to go with
Florida Avenue
M&M.
Grill. When I was up here in law school, good place to eat.
I know, but M&M is a one-man show.
They fake it. They found the Rattlers block it at the line of scrimmage. They got the surge up front, and they got the block.
Look at the celebration on the far sideline. FAMU defense as they get the punt block and the ball with 19 seconds to go before halftime.
Gary Smith, the junior from Wilmington, Delaware, on the recovery for FAMU. So the Rattlers coaching staff does a fine job of preserving the clock with the timeouts, and they'll have a genuine shot at a touchdown here with 19 seconds remaining. Doherty, slide is to the right. Tight one to the left as well. Shotgun set for FAMU. There's a snap to Doherty. Rattlers got to go up top here. Looking right side. The pressure. Tries to dump it out in the flats. Does so to Alexander. Alexander inside the 10, down to the 9.
They've got to get to the line of scrimmage and try to down the ball under 10 seconds. It's going to be tight.
Down to 5. The Rattlers trying to set it up. It's down to 3. They got to get it off. They won't get it off, though. And they come to the end of the first half. Rattlers without the timeout. They used that clock as much as they were able to in terms of preserving time. But simply ran out of time. So at the end of the first half, we're tied at 7. The Bison 7, the Rattlers 7. We'll step aside for the timeout and come with the halftime show. This is FAMU Football on UBC TV. Back live at Green Stadium on the campus of Howard University at the intermission. We're tied at 7 apiece. The Rattlers of Florida A&M and the Bison of Howard University. Mark Rattlers with a chance to squeeze more score in there, but perhaps before the halftime simply ran out of time.
What prevented that, Charles? They weren't able to make a substitution, get 4 players off the field. Doherty didn't have enough time to get back to the line of scrimmage and down the football, and as you mentioned, it ran out. So 7-7 at halftime.
Doherty, though, with the pass thrown not in the end zone, but out front to the receiver, with it trying to work again in terms of the run after the catch. Rattlers perhaps better served by trying to force it into the end zone.
Exactly. Or if you don't have a man open with it that's close to the sideline, just throw it out of bounds and then try to pick up another play. But FAMU has got to feel good about themselves. At least getting on the scoreboard would be quite an embarrassment to come all the way to Washington, D.C. for Howard's homecoming and not getting any points on the scoreboard as it should. Howard, give them credit, having that long drive in the second quarter that put them up 7-0 and really forced FAMU to become a lot more aggressive on offense.
It's homecoming here at Howard University, year 2003. Right now, the fans being entertained by the Howard University Marching Band. We'll go down and see if we can't take a listen as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Howard University Showtime Marching Band. And now, introducing the 2003-2004 court. Tiffany Deanne Simmons currently serves as George W. Cook Roll's first Miss Cook Roll. She's the eldest of 4 children, the only daughter of Larry Simmons and Roxanne Johnson. Miss Simmons is a 2003 graduate of the Lewis Cass Technical High School, where she studied performing arts and is currently a student in the Fine Arts Department, where she continues her studies as an acting major. She stays active in the Howard University community by serving as a member of the Michigan Club, as well as a member of the Howard Players. Mr. Jacob B. A&M is a junior mathematics major from Charleston, South Carolina. While growing up in the small town of South Carolina, his parents, Alan and Mary, always taught him how to be well-rounded individuals. Jacob is currently a scholarship athlete.
At this fine location.
Conclusion of the halftime performance by the Howard University Band and some of the pageantry of Homecoming 2003 at Howard.
One of the highlights of Homecoming is when they introduced the Homecoming Court. The president, athletic director, and all the dignitaries down on the field and getting ready to line up now and play the Howard alma mater.
No, you promised me you weren't going to cry. But I know they're going into this.
I'm not going to get misty. I'm okay. I'm okay. But it's quite a festive afternoon as this perfect, picture-perfect 70-degree day in Washington, D.C. for Homecoming, facing 2 teams that have quite a storied tradition against each other, Florida A&M and Howard University. I mean, it's really a special afternoon when you can gather like this and celebrate a special day.
Absolutely. You talk about Florida A&M within its own right, one of the historic and one of the most richly traditioned schools in all of the HBCUs, but Howard University right up there with FAMU in terms of its legends as well.
What's interesting, I had a chance to talk to one of the band members before the game and wanted to find out how many people in the band were on actual band scholarships. He said, you know, most of the band members are on academic scholarships. And talking about the traditions of the 2 schools, Howard, known for the longest time as the capstone of Negro education, transferred later on to the Mecca of black education. FAMU, on the other hand, is recognized by Time magazine a few years back as the best university in the nation. So both schools really have quite a, not only a set of accomplishments, but they have that history and they have that pride going for them as well.
One of the other similarities, of course, FAMU located in the capital city of the state of Florida, but here, Howard University in the capital of the nation, that's got its own mixture, its own flair to it as well.
Well, it really lends itself to the cosmopolitan nature of the student body. It's very international as they pull students, as FAM does, from all over the world.
7-7 the score at the intermission. Capacity crowd here at Green Stadium. Everybody felt, we talked to the athletics director on air today. We actually had a chance to sit down and visit with her on Thursday, and they were already well into preparations for this ball game on Saturday, recognizing that they just didn't have the seating capacity to accommodate everyone. And as you talked about the Yard Fest area, and you look at the crowd here, there's the Yard Fest area just to the left of this, the pavilion here, and they've got about 20,000 people over there as well.
Well, you talk about what happens on the weekend of Howard Homecoming. You got to really find a spot to watch the parade from. And I think that if you ever come to a Howard Homecoming, you got to get a spot on Georgia Avenue on the other side of the A building. Second thing, the seat for Yard Fest, as you discovered yesterday. Best seat for Yard Fest is on the steps of the Fine Arts Building.
Sure.
I know you enjoyed watching Nelly from that spot. Also, the detour for Howard homecoming, you've got to be able to negotiate your way around the campus because there are a lot of places you just can't get through because the streets are blocked.
Well, you know what? Even inside the Yard Fest yesterday, you took me through the building and we showed up right here on the football field. So that was a good detour.
You've got to know what you're doing down here, and we will have the advantage of being at Florida A&M's homecoming in 2 weeks, and it will be, I'm certain, just a specimen occasion.
Absolutely. Folks in the athletics department at Howard University work hard in terms of making this a great pavilion and a place that everybody can enjoy the game. Right now, 7-7 between the teams. We're going to step aside.
Talk about this atmosphere out here.
Well, it's an awful lot of fun. It's great for the alums, great for visitors, and hopefully great for the home team.
Well, we'll see about that. Let's talk about your recruiting. You guys have been recruiting some intelligent students here.
Well, Howard's always been known for its intelligent students. This year, we were very fortunate. We've recruited 71 National Achievement Scholars. We believe we'll be first in the nation in that regard, and we're very happy about that and very thankful that such great young people have decided to come to Howard University.
President, talk about some of the Howard tradition. You've got students peeking out of the dorm rooms, people on top of the buildings. Talk about how that's a part of your tradition.
Well, the dorm room overlooking this field, I lived in that dorm room myself for 2 years, so it has a lot of emotional impact for me to be here today. But it's also great in terms of reaffirming the Howard family and the Howard family extended, and also the historically black schools and colleges family generally. It's a great homecoming for all HBCU grads.
Okay, let's go back upstairs to Charles.
Thank you, Miranda, and thanks to President Swagger.
You know, Charles, one of the most significant things that Howard has undertaken recently, 9th of March 2002, they started a campaign to raise a goal of $250 million over the next 5 years. Now, you're talking about having some lofty goals. It's called the Campaign for Howard, $250 million over 5 years.
As a friend told me, that's a lot of cheddar. Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights in that 7-7 score. First for the Rattlers of Florida A&M. On the ground, Rashard Pompey with this big run from scrimmage. Light at the crowd here at Green Stadium, deep downfield for FAMU. And then here you take a look at Doherty firing upfield, and the fumble coming in here by Rod Miller after a great catch. And now Doherty on the run from 5 yards out to get FAMU's first and only touchdown in this first half of football. Rattlers with their 7 points. For the Bison of Howard University, it was all this quarterback Marino in the pass here to Gillum out in the flats. Marino with a good first half of football. There through the air again. Catch made down at the 5 by Brewer, and Antoine Rutherford taking it in for the touchdown run left side for the Bison of Howard University. Rutherford with a good first half of football for the Bison, tied at 7-7 as we head into the third.
Howard dominated time of possession and the number of plays in the first half by almost a 3-1 margin to FAMU, which really had its offense off the field for the majority of the second quarter.
Bison with 215 yards of total offense in the first half compared to 129 for FAMU. You alluded to it in time of possession. Bison with 22 minutes and 22 seconds of possession time. Rattlers at 7:38 as we take a look at the stats on the screen. Some of the bigger numbers that stand out for you. In my mind, the one that's really big is third down conversion for the Bison of Howard University. 4 of 9 compared to 0 of 4 for FAMU.
And where we thought, if you go back up top, the rushing yards, really curious that Howard dominated for that long a time, but FAMU is really right on their heels, 100 yards rushing for the Rattlers.
And perhaps surprising as well up top, the Rattlers only 29 yards to the air. Howard 101, and we alluded to that time of possession already. Almost 3 times as much for the Bison in terms of handling the clock compared to the Rattlers, just over 7 minutes.
What you want to do is give credit to the Howard defense. They may be a little bit on the young side, but they've turned out this season to be a big play defense, and so far Ben Doherty's had a little bit of a difficulty sorting that defense out.
As we get set to start the third quarter, talking about giving out some credit. Let's give out a little bit of credit to our guys in the truck, led by Frank Rhodes, talking in our ear. Great jobs all season long, guys. I know it was a difficult challenge here at Green Stadium just because of the facility, but you worked it out well, and it's turned out to be a good football game.
Well, you got to get a shot of the lifts that you actually have to prop cameras up on the far sideline.
Vasquez with the high and deep kick for FAMU to get us going. Third quarter, back deep in the end zone is Brewer. He'll down it there. Bison will start from the 20-yard line this first possession of this third quarter. Charles Ward and Mark Lashner with the play call. Miranda Jordan at sideline at Green Stadium. Homecoming 2003 for the Bison of Howard University.
Talk about Marcus Marino, the quarterback for Howard, had a very effective first half of play. No turnovers. And Marino, who throws for a decent percentage, wants to see if he can duplicate what he did in the second quarter, keep the Florida A&M offense off the field.
Marino, 13 of 19 in that first half, or 101 yards. Had the long of 19 yards on the catch by Darrell Nunn. First and 10 for the Bison now. Lone setback is Rutherford. Sprint draw to Rutherford. Rutherford jumps the line of scrimmage up near the 24-yard line. Quick pickup of 4 by Antoine Rutherford. He finished the first half with 91 yards.
Talking about running backs that make that first man miss. Rutherford on the last carry, steps out of the first tackle, picks up positive yards, but there was really not much there. Got a gain of about 4 yards.
Rutherford with 91 in that first half. Richard Pompey for FAMU. About a third of the carries that Rutherford had, he finished with 83 yards. Second down and 5 for the Bison now, or make it 6. Pick up a 4 by Rutherford on the previous play. Faking in the line, they go in the reverse. Brewer left side looking for a block at the corner. Brewer fumble the football. It's loose. Rattlers trying to dive on it near the 20-yard line. They say that they have it. We'll see. Rattlers take it over on the turnover.
I think it was Albert Williams for FAMU that made that fumble recovery. Number 93 goes off to the sideline, but the ball just popped in the air. Watch the handoff and the hit that comes right about there.
Brewer with the football, and there was a backside hit by one of the Rattlers, and they forced him to cough it up. We'll take another look at it.
Wide angle. There's the football, tapped around, volleyball, and actually FAM, which we've seen time and time again run that fumble drill, had 3 players where the ball came free.
Sessions recovers it for FAMU, and the offense for FAMU goes in session now. They fake it in the line. Doherty rolling right side, trying to dump it out the flats. Pompey has to jump to get it, but he comes down hard. Flag thrown in at the end of the play. Pompey down near the 11-yard line. It comes in that area where it's likely a hold against that Rattler offense. We'll check it out, though.
You got a lineman downfield for FAMU as they were setting up the screen to Pompey. As you mentioned, Doherty seemed to float the ball to the sideline. Watch how he just shot puts it, and just that extra amount of time threw off the timing of linemen, because they're supposed to go on that go shout by the running back and turn upfield. So someone took off. They're going to wave it off.
They wave the flag off. So the Rattlers pick up 8 on the play from the pass from Doherty to Pompey. So a second down and 2 for FAMU at the Bison 13-yard line. Rattlers got it on the fumble recovery. Doherty under center this trip. Miller in motion left side. They give it to Miller left side, trying to spring it out to the corner. Now cuts it up. Somebody lost a helmet. Miller goes down near the initial line of scrimmage. May have gotten a yard.
As the season's evolved, Charles, FAMU has turned to use Rod Miller's running ability as much as his receiving ability. He was a all-region running back in high school. Number 10 is an elusive runner. He uses it usually after a catch, but that time they tried the inside handoff.
Miller with 5 carries coming into today's ball game for 34 yards. On the ground, they go Sharp right side. Sharp banged and hit at the line of scrimmage. Look at the surge by the Bison up front. Sharp didn't pick up that first down.
From the spot, he's going to be significantly short of the first down, which will bring up a 4th down and long call. Interesting spot on the field because you have Juan Vasquez.
Absolutely right. Early in this third quarter, just underway with 13:30 remaining in it. The Rattlers appear to be going for it on this 4th down. So the thinking in this situation is we've got enough time to make it up in the event we do.
Well, let's change it. They're going to mark that a first down.
They did give them a first. A liberal marking by the crew here at Green Stadium. So the Rattlers 1st and 10 from the 11 of the Bison. Doherty, short drop right side, across the middle, fires to Alexander with the catch. Was he in the end zone? They'll down him at the 1-yard line. A crossing route to Cardan Alexander. He caught it in stride, turned in over in with the grab, but he puts it down to the half-yard line.
Watch Alexander and take the shot from Antoine Buffet. Puts a shoulder right in his midsection. Fortunately to hold on to the ball, but FAMU inside the 1-yard line and quickly trying to get a play call.
1st and goal to go. Doherty on the ground, gives it Sharp right side. Sharp's going to go in, touchdown for the Rattlers. The whistles at the line of scrimmage and a flag coming in.
You may get Howard for an offside call as they're trying to shuttle players in and off the line of scrimmage. There was one player coming in unusually late as FAMU going once again to that famous no huddle.
Officials confer as you take a look at Sharp at the end of that run. Doherty peering in to try to get a read on what's being called.
Paul Sharp is 5'11", 242. He started the season as the number 2 fullback, but with the play that he's had recently and also the ability he has to catch the ball in the backfield. He's moved up the depth chart.
Let's see if we don't get a call here from the referee going against the Rattlers. So the Rattlers penalized, and the football is pushed outside of the 5 down to the 6.
Seemed like
delay a game on the offense. The offensive team did not allow the defensive team to get substitutes in. 5-yard penalties, replay first down.
Well, that's not a delay a game. That's trying to rush the game along.
Hurrying things up. So the Rattlers, with the assessment, face a 1st and goal to go now from the 5-yard line. Take a look at the replay of Sharp's touchdown run, but they take it off the board. So Doherty now will show shotgun. Short drop right side, same route. Now he'll pull it down, try to run it. Clipped at the line of scrimmage. Good defensive surge by the Bison up front.
FAMU flooded the zone to the right side. Doherty was initially trying to hit Rod Miller, who ran a skinny post to that side. No one open, so as he's known to do, Doherty just takes it up and gets what he can.
Michael Brown there on the screen, number 94, on the stop of Ben Doherty. 2nd down goal to go for FAMU now. Shotgun again for Doherty. There's a snap. Short route going to the corner of the end zone for Alexander. Reached up and it's batted down out of the air. Lontarius Robinson, the senior from Tallahassee, Florida, puts the stop, or deflects the pass. He was going in the corner for Cardan Alexander. The same route that he scored the touchdown on, the game-winning touchdown against Delaware State. Take another look at it.
You'll see defensive backs time and time again mistime that jump. Robinson that time working against one of FAMU's best receivers. Timed his jump perfectly, knocked it away.
Robinson attended FAMU High School, a laboratory school for FAMU. Rattler's got to be wondering how he wound up here in D.C. Doherty going to keep it himself now. Angles back to the inside, fights off one block. Doherty works it right side. They deny him the end zone.
FAMU trying to get close, as Howard's saying they got a fumble, as one of the referees took a shot in the face. We're going to try to sort this one out. He came stumbling away into the Howard end zone. It's a little bit of traffic inside.
It'll be 4th down and goal.
So the Rattlers will keep the football. As you take a look at the replay.
Number 32 is Vontre Long of Howard. Watch the shoulder being lowered by Doherty, trying to get into the end zone. Ball actually wedged out of there.
Vontre Long actually stripped it out. Rattlers got a break. 4th and goal to go on the ground. They give it to Sharp. Right side, they won't get in. Bison defense holds. Stop up front by Antoine Buffet and the rest of the Bison as they cut the legs from under Sharp.
And for one of the few times this afternoon, a rise out of the crowd as Paul Sharp, due to the penetration of the Howard defensive front, is stopped short of the goal line. Howard's offense will take over with about a 1st and 10 from the 1.5-yard line, but credit that defense as you get a look at Antoine Buffet on the HU sideline.
Buffet going in and charging and cutting the legs from under Sharp. Buffet, the leading tackler on the Bison team, came into today's ball game with 40 to his credit. So the Bison hold and they take over on offense, but they're pent deep in their own territory, in the backfield. Carry by Rutherford. Rutherford fights it up near the 2-yard line.
Talk about Buffet. Once again, he was the MEAC Defensive Player of the Week against Texas Southern. He had 13 tackles in that game.
So it's 2nd down now, and about 8.
Sun was out during the majority of the first half. Now we've got a bit of an overcast day. They were expecting rain showers later on in the afternoon. So far, it's held off.
As Marino comes under center, extended eye behind him. Movement up front. On the ground, they give it to Rutherford. Flags coming in late, the far side of the field. Rutherford falls ahead near the 4, perhaps the 5.
Head coach Ray Petty of Howard has got to be thinking he wants to get some yards, enough to wedge it out, at least to give his punter some distance in his own end zone. They'd love to pick up a 1st down here, but FAMU, on the other hand, is trying to hold Howard as close to their own end zone as possible. Let's get a look at Rutherford taking that last tackle.
Offsides, defense, 5 yards from the previous spot, remain 2nd down.
The offsides called going against the Rattlers, and the reason for that was a good job of the signal calling by Marcos Marino. Held a good, strong count there, and he got the Rattlers to jump.
At least the third time this afternoon where the FAMU defensive line has been thrown off by the hard count.
So the Bison move the football up now to their 9-yard line, 2nd down and 3.
It's always been interesting. I've wondered why more quarterbacks don't vary the snap count. Sometimes you fall into that rhythm of calling the same play on 1 or 2.
Marino under center. Play fake, whistles at the line of scrimmage.
John Edwards gets a hand on Marino in the end zone. Marino complains, feeling that he was roughed up a little bit, but it was just a little friendly tap.
Prior to the snap, ball start on the offense, 5 yards from the previous spot, remain 2nd down.
So if the men in stripes give it, they take it away. This one against the Bison. 7-7 your score. 10-13 remains in this 3rd quarter. We're live from Green Stadium on the campus of Howard University. It's homecoming 2003 for the Bison. Marino facing the 2nd down and 8. A movement at the line of scrimmage again. Flags coming in.
Prior to the snap, ball start, offense, half the distance to the goal, remain 2nd down.
2nd consecutive play. Howard being victimized by its offensive front being a little bit over anxious.
So that'll push them back near the 1-yard line, pretty much where they started after the 4th down stop of the Rattlers. 2nd and 10.5. 2nd and 8, let's correct that. Marino fix it in the line, in the pocket, going out in the flats, overthrown, intended for Kevin Tyson, the fullback, running a route in the flats near the 12-yard line.
Marino seemed to be expecting Tyson to pull up in that pattern. Tyson kept going into coverage. You've got to do a good job if you're a receiver and in sync with your quarterback to break that pattern off and come back to your quarterback, especially when he doesn't have a lot of time to throw in his own end zone.
9:38 remaining 3rd quarter. Rattlers got to be pretty happy with the position they're in right now if they can hold the Bison on this play.
It's an obvious passing situation. This is where the quickness and speed of the FAMU linebackers, their cornerbackers, comes in handy.
So Marino going under center. Big 3rd down play, both sides of the football. He'll take the drop, rolling right side now, trying to break the containment. Marino looking upfield, now dumps it, and the pass goes incomplete. Trying to get it downfield to Travis Gillum, but a flag coming in. You may be able to hear the FAMU coaches just to our right saying that Marino was beyond the line of scrimmage when he threw the football. We'll see if the officials agree.
He was about 4 yards beyond the line of scrimmage as he's rolling out, takes the advantage of a block. It'll also include, Charles, as you know, a loss of down in that situation. So FAM gets what it wants in the exchange on the last play call by Howard, and Marino being a little bit slow on the trigger.
We'll see what the call is.
It's always interesting coming out of halftime. How many times have we seen the 3rd quarter just get off to a sluggish start? Howard trying to find his way. Early penalties. No team has really taken advantage so far. And the FAMU defense, congratulate them for holding their ground.
The man was beyond the line of scrimmage. Half the distance to the goal. Also lost of down. 4th down.
So it's 4th now for the Bison, and they'll have to punt it away. Nice call on the play there, Lassiter.
Now, the trick is you've got the Howard punter, Vaughn Waters, on the baseline of his own end zone.
So expect the Rattlers to be coming at him. Brown stands at the 37. They're trying to set the run back. High kick by Waters. Brown circling, and he'll field it at the 36, looking for a block at the corners. Banged at the sideline and chased out of bounds at the 33. Rattlers will take it over. On offense, we're tied at 7 apiece. 9:23 remains 3rd quarter. This is FAMU football on UBC TV.
Hey Gator fans, Florida travels to Arkansas and Sunshine Network is ready with live post-game coverage.
We're never going to give up. This team never quits. I mean, that's the only thing we're focusing on.
Gator post-game live from Fayetteville, Saturday night on Sunshine.
5 at 2nd down and 10 for FAMU. Whistles at the line of scrimmage. Rattlers have run off a couple of plays at the break. Right now they face a 2nd down and 10 is what's showing on the board. And Doherty going to go under center this trip.
A couple of productive plays, I might add.
On the ground, they give it to Pompey, who turns his back to the defense and falls ahead to the 20.
Okay, let's reset. 8 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the third quarter. FAMU takes advantage of the short punt that Levy Brown fielded. Took a little bit of chastising on the sideline because the coaches didn't want him to catch that one on the short hop with Howard's pursuit right in his face. But FAMU now with a third down and long call coming up.
Shotgun for Doherty and FAMU. Slots either side. 5 up front defensively for the Bison. Now they pull in a couple more at the corners. Doherty in the pocket. Fires quickly underneath. Pass goes incomplete for FAMU. Let's send it over to Miranda Jordan. Miranda.
I'm here with Dr. Carolyn Jones. She is the president of the local Alumni Association here in the D.C. area. Let's talk about the support that you have here.
Yes, the Washington, D.C. chapter is the second largest alumni chapter in the nation, and we're still growing. So if we have Rattlers out there who are watching us, we actually have a hotline, and the number is 301-681-2FAMU. We have a lot of activities that we're very involved in. We recruit students at local high schools. We have an annual scholarship dance to raise funds for the university. We actually give scholarship to students. We have many activities to increase camaraderie amongst the Rattlers who are here.
And there's a lot of Rattler support in the stands. Charles?
Thank you, Miranda, and thank you, Carolyn. Rattlers miss on a 35-yard field goal effort, so we remain tied at 7 apiece. 7:49 remains, third quarter. This is FAMU football on UBC TV.
A short time ago, this woman was limited by her mobility.
7 minutes, 49 seconds left, third quarter. Still tied at 7 apiece. Bison, after the missed FAMU field goal attempt, take over from their own 20. Marino in the line. He gives it to Rutherford. Rutherford, bang near the 25-yard line. Pick up a 4 on the quick hitting play by Rutherford.
Let's go back to the field goal attempt that we made. Roosevelt Kaiser, the new holder, seemed to get a very low snap from Michael Bodie. Wasn't able to get the ball in position where Vasquez was happy with it. As you get a look at the replay by Rutherford right at the middle. But FAMU's field goal kicking, which was problematic last year, really showed some signs of improvement. They've shuttled around that special teams, but they just haven't been as consistent as they would like to expect.
Coming into the game, they were 6 of 11 in field goal attempts, along with 47 by Vasquez, which what you're referencing is a difficulty on the snaps at this point. Marino firing out in the flats, catch made by Gillum, sidesteps one defender and steps out of bounds near the 30-yard line. Going to be awfully close to that Bison first down. Looks like he's going to have it. They're going to mark him up at the 31.
Howard would like nothing better than to duplicate the drive they had in the second quarter right here on the exchange of possession, holding FAMU scoreless. They've got a little more operating room compared to the previous drive. They've got to be feeling better about themselves. 7 minutes in this third quarter. Let's see how long they can be able to hold it.
Gillum with the catch. Credit him with being heads up enough to know where their first down marker is, and he ran to it. First and 10 for the Bison now from their own 31. Movement up front by FAMU. Flags coming in.
That's where defensive linemen get that free shot in. They see a flinch on the offensive line. I'm going to get one. I might as well take somebody out, come this far. John Edwards, first player over. The Howard linemen are pointing at the FAMU front as if it's going to be called against the Rattlers. We'll sort it out.
Offside. Defense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Remains first down.
Indeed, it will be against the Rattlers.
At least the 4th time this afternoon, the defensive front for FAMU has been drawn off.
So the line of scrimmage now, the 36-yard line.
Here's John Edwards.
First and 5 for the Bison from the 36. Marino with the I formation behind it. 3 in the box for FAMU. Left side, Rutherford met at the line of scrimmage, falls ahead for about a yard. But the Rattlers keeping a tighter eye or look at Rutherford. Stop made by Chris Gilchrist for FAMU.
Once again, the crowd is settled back down. Halftime is over. The festivities are over. People, it's really an odd situation where they're, again, back into that mode of waiting for something to happen as opposed to trying to root their team along.
Second down and 4 for the Bison. Trips to the left of Marino. Taking the drop. Rolling right side now. Here comes the pressure. Marino trying to turn it back the other way. Got a wall set from the backside with blockers in front of him. Marino now to the line of scrimmage. At the 40-yard line. Runs out of bounds near the 44. Good backside blocking by the Bison as they followed the work of Marino and got him free downfield.
Now that got a rise out of the crowd. Howard picks up 2 crackback blocks, the last of which thrown by number 73, Willie Shine. Well, I'm sure we'll get a low angle look at. But as Marino rolls and then reverses his field, watch the Howard wall reset to the near side as he comes right into your living room, and see if you can get a peek at number 73 right there. Knock off a player for FAMU.
Another look at it from behind the defense. Good blocks downfield by the Bison following the play. Back to live action now, 1st and 10 for the Bison. On the delayed handoff, it's Rutherford left side. They had a hand on his leg, but he frees himself from that. Gets up near the 47. So Rutherford's run makes it 2nd down and about 5.
Rutherford doesn't look big, but he really has an ability that once he feels contact, keep his feet moving and uses that balance to pick up additional yardage. Howard coming up with a 2nd and medium. FAMU's defense, once again, 5 minutes. They're starting to pick up that mileage in terms of time on the field.
7-7 your score. Take a look at Rutherford. Freshman from Hollywood, Florida. Marino under center. Rattlers showing blitz, but they drop back. Marino fires a bullet upfield. Gillum with the catch near the 40-yard line. Nice execution on the pass from Marino to Gillum.
Once again, the Howard offense looking like the FAMU offense. Nothing fancy, just picking up 1st downs with the short passing game.
Take a look at the replay. Marino just threw a bullet in there to Gillum, who made the grabs. Stops made downfield by Chris Bowie.
You know, it's interesting. I don't think Marino's thrown off a 7-step drop all afternoon. He's throwing off a 3, sometimes max 5-step drop.
Absolutely.
But he's allowing the receivers to run their patterns and not allowing penetration of that front of Florida A&M in the process.
1st and 10 for the Bison now at the FAMU 40. In motion goes Gillum. Marino gives it to Rutherford, left side. Rutherford fights his way near the 35-yard line. Right now, the Bison have the Rattlers slightly off center with the mixture of the pass and the run.
There's also something else Antoine Rutherford has going for him, and that's the ability to accelerate off the 2nd step. You can see him take a handoff and get up to full speed in a very short amount of time, which allows him to get to that line of scrimmage.
Rutherford got 5 on the play. It's 2nd down and 5 for the Bison now at the FAMU 35. Under 5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Slot is to the right of Marino. In the line, they give it. Rutherford spins off 1 block, still on his feet, works it right side, now on his hands near the 26-yard line. Tough run by Antoine Rutherford.
Before that last carry, Antoine Rutherford had 27 carries for 113 yards, so he's already at the point where he's making a significant impact on this game, and we're only halfway through the 3rd quarter.
4:20 remains as you take a look at Rutherford on the replay. Just a nice 2nd and 3rd effort by Rutherford on the run. 1st and 10 for the Bison. Another sustained drive by Howard University. Marino, right side this time is Rutherford, looking for a block, but the Rattlers bobble it up at the line of scrimmage and pull him down. Several Rattlers getting up from under the pile. Steve St. Felix, one of them.
If I'm on defense for FAM, I'm thinking pass all the way on this next play call. Howard has done a good job on the last 2 running plays. They've sucked the FAMU linebackers close to the line of scrimmage. This is the opportunity. Go off a play fake to see if you can get into the secondary.
Bison lost about a yard on the play, so it's 2nd down and 11. Trips to the left of Marino. 3 up front for FAMU. And they're going to throw it. Marino, right side, fires up their corner. Worley's got it for FAMU. Did he pick it off? Yes, he did. Interception by Julian Worley. The Rattlers right on cue with you, Mark. They read the pass well at the corner, and Worley gets the pick for FAMU.
Worley does an excellent job. He's, again, one of those cornerbackers that disguise. He's 6'1", 180, so he's able to roam at different parts of the field. Did an excellent job of stepping in, getting his hands on the ball, and just ripping it away from the receiver.
Worley with his first interception of the season for FAMU.
Well, you know, when you come out with the orange shoes, you got to do something big. You can't come out in orange shoes and just have an average game.
Mediocre day, huh? Rattlers take it over with 3:08 remaining in the third. We're still tied at 7 apiece. Doherty in the offense back out. 5 up front for the Bison. Shotgun set for Doherty. Play clock and a flag had to come in. The Rattlers running the clock down seemingly and weren't aware how much time was left.
On the offense, 5 yards from the previous spot. Remain first down.
At the line of scrimmage, you could see Doherty establish eye contact with Novak Traxler. Now, we haven't heard his name called a lot this afternoon, but we've seen Traxler as one of Doherty's favorite go-to receivers when it gets tight on his own end of the field.
The Rattlers seem to be stuck in a time warp on that previous play, just not able to get the cadence called and get the ball snapped. So they lose 5 on the delay. Doherty, right side, trying to pull it down. They had a hand on him, but he frees himself. Pass coming upfield. Catch made by Crawford for FAMU up near the 27-yard line, and credit the strength of Ben Doherty for fighting through that tackle.
How many times this season have we seen defenders underestimate the strength of Doherty? Now he's in the grasp and just rips himself away and give himself enough time to make the last completion downfield.
2nd down and 8 after Doherty's effort. Rattlers going on a reverse now. They give it to Miller. Miller, right side, spins off one block. They hit him hard near the 27-yard line. It looks like he got it back to the line of scrimmage and not much more. They're trying to get Miller involved in the running aspect of the game. You mentioned that in the first half. There it goes for no gain.
Rod Miller trying to run the reverse, as you mentioned, but give credit to Howard for having the penetration in the backfield. It really threw off the timing on the last handoff.
So 3rd down for FAMU now. 2:13 remaining, 3rd quarter. Shotgun set for Doherty. With the snap. Looking to his right. Now he'll tuck it away to run it himself. Doherty angling to the right side. Spins ahead past the 35, and he's got enough for the FAMU 1st down.
But you've got to wince every time he lands on that shoulder. That time he took contact on the left shoulder. You don't see him favoring it, but Doherty 3 weeks ago wasn't playing as a result of the separated shoulder he had at the University of Florida.
Only Richard Pompey had better numbers in terms of running the football for FAMU. There, Doherty runs for the 1st down. On 1st, they give it on the comeback to Richardson, who just checked in. Richardson still on his feet, tiptoeing ahead for about a yard, perhaps 2.
Devin Richardson, another player coming off injuries for FAMU, just saw significant game action last week and had that high ankle sprain that he was a lot slower coming back from than they expected. He actually hurt that ankle in the last preseason scrimmage.
1:23 and clock running here in the 3rd. FAMU facing a 2nd down and 8. In motion is Crawford. Doherty with the snap, looking to his right, now back to his left. He'll tuck it away. He's got some real estate in front of him right side. He's at the 40, at the 45. Doherty runs out of bounds near the 48. There's no scooting out of bounds by Ben Doherty. Doherty took a hit at the sideline, but he runs it for the FAMU 1st.
He gets the 1st, but actually, as you mentioned, took that shot right in front of the FAMU bench. Goes out of bounds. Clock is stopped. FAMU picking up the momentum ever so slightly. Cardan Alexander's on that side, also trying to get a block in for his quarterback.
Into that play there, Doherty with his hands up in the air, like, where's the call? Didn't get it, but he got the 1st. Line of scrimmage to 48-yard line. Snap to Doherty is high, but he handles. Gets it on the ground to Richardson. Richardson looking for some room. He'll be locked down behind the line of scrimmage at the FAMU 45.
Sometimes when players come back off injury, the toughest thing to do is to let it go. Richardson that time seemed to be trying to pick his way as opposed to being decisive, finding a hole and just cutting it to the line of scrimmage. He picks his way. Howard makes penetration. Nothing gains.
Absolutely. That play starts deep in the backfield anyway, so what you want to do is get your pursuit up front as quickly as possible. Rattlers lose 4 on the play. 2nd and 14. Snap to Doherty. Time at the line of scrimmage. Looking to his left. Now the pressure. He dumps it back the other way to Richardson. Richardson with the grab. Fights ahead. Got it back to the initial line of scrimmage. The 48, perhaps to 49.
Now let's reset once again. Howard is coming into this ball game 1-3. They lost early in the season to Texas Southern. Lost to Hampton on a close one, 17-14. Lost to Akron big 65-7. First victory 2 weeks ago. They had the bye week. So they're at homecoming. They're tied with Florida A&M, one of the best black college teams in the country. They've got to be feeling very good about themselves.
Absolutely right. With 3 quarters already down, they're tied at 7 apiece. We'll step aside for the timeout and come back with the final quarter from Green Stadium. This is FAMU football on UBC TV. Back live at Green Stadium, we go into the 4th final quarter of homecoming 2003 for the Bison. Rattlers with the football. We're tied at 7 apiece. Charles Ward, Mark Lasker, and Miranda Jordan with the play call. FAMU football on UBC TV. Slots either side for Doherty now. 3rd down for FAMU. Snap to Doherty, looking up to his left. He's got some real estate in front of him. He'll tuck it down.
Wide open.
He's at the 40. He's got the 1st down. At the 35, cuts back to the inside. Still on his feet. Nice second effort by Doherty down to the 31.
Doherty did 2 things. Not only did he see the wide open field of play to the left side, but at the end of that play, he steps out of a pretty solid tackle.
Sure.
Tucks it in here, turns into a running back. Now, keep in mind, Doherty's 215. Turns back. Here's the contact. Oop, I'll just step through that and get another 7 yards.
Stayed on his hands. Got the 1st down. FAMU at the 31-yard line. Just underway 4th quarter. Rattlers give it up to Richardson. Spins inside the secondary of the Bison. Works his way inside the 20, down to the 25-yard line.
Not a big run. That may be Devin Richardson's best run since coming back off injury. A lot more decisive. Makes a spin move, fortunately, into open space. About a 7-yard gain.
Through 3 quarters, the Bison 266 total yards of offense. Rattlers 196 total yards. Surprisingly for the Rattlers, only 61 yards in the air.
Devin Richardson coming to the sideline for a quick breather. Pompey now the single man in the backfield.
2nd and 4 for FAMU. 14:04 remains in the football game. On the ground, Pompey left side dances back to the right now. Somebody hit him, but he stays on his feet inside the 10-yard line, down to the 8.
Incredible individual effort. Pompey that time twice felt contact, keeps his balance. Second time I think was more impressive than the first. Watch the first hit on the replay, keeps his balance. Now the second one, his own man, and picks up another 3 yards.
So Pompey with a nice run for FAMU. It's 1st and goal to go for the Rattlers now. Down at the 9-yard line.
Doherty looking left. Rod Miller in motion.
Miller on the ground. They give it to Pompey. Pompey works it left side. Down near the 5. They'll mark him at the 6.
Okay, whose name haven't we called so far this afternoon? Cardan Alexander. He's the player for FAMU, one of the receivers with the best size. They like to go to him on the fade route in this part of the field.
We'll see if that becomes a factor. Alexander not out there at the moment. It's Kaiser at one wide out and Traxler at the other.
Traxler is 6'2".
Shotgun for Doherty, looking to his left. Doherty fires across to Miller. Miller backs it around, and it goes incomplete. Miller had to turn to catch the football, had an opportunity to pull it in.
Working in front of Antoine Bethea, Miller actually had 2 shots at it as he's spinning around, got a hand on it right about 1 yard deep in the end zone, but wasn't able to pull it down. You can see him shaking his head, knowing that he had not just 1, but 2 grabs at it.
3rd and goal to go for FAMU now. They're getting short on downs. Pompey sets to the left of Doherty. Slots either side. Now they have tripped right side. Doherty looking that way. Raises, fires, got Miller at the 3. Miller, touchdown FAMU. They ran Miller in motion to the right to get the triple receiver formation that way. And the little out route by Miller is good for the touchdown.
Vontre Long just a little bit slow in covering Miller's break to the outside. Miller's just too quick working against a linebacker. They had the matchup they wanted, FAMU that is, and Miller makes the touchdown catch.
So Vasquez now on to try the point after. 12:55 remaining in the football game. Rattlers take their first lead of the afternoon.
The thing about the Gulf Coast, Charles, is all about mismatches.
Kaiser to hold. Snap is clean. Vasquez with the kick. He drives it through. Rattlers leading it 14-7 over the Bison of Howard University. 12:55 remaining in the football game. This is FAMU football on UBC TV. Rattlers take their first lead of the afternoon, 14-7, after the catch and run of the touchdown by Rod Miller. Vasquez set to kick it away as we take a look at the replay from Doherty with the pass. Miller on the front end of that catch runs it in from about the 3.
Nice job of Rashad Parpay. Watch number 30 pick up the block. And Rod Miller wide open.
So Miller with the touchdown grab. And there you see him at the sideline. Miller. Not a lot of catches this afternoon, but that was a big one for FAMU.
What Rod Miller's great at, Charles, is fighting his way up the line of scrimmage. Remember watching him in preseason, he has probably 1 or 2 moves that he used just to work his way up the line.
His 3rd catch of the afternoon, that one for the touchdown. 13-play drive for FAMU, consumed 5 minutes and 13 seconds off the clock. Drove at 75 yards, a 6-yard pass from Doherty to Miller for the touchdown. Vasquez with the kick, going to be fielded by Brewer for the Bison. There he goes, right side. Brewer at the 40, at midfield now. Vasquez, can he stop it? Vasquez got a trip on him down near the 35-yard line. But Jonathan Brewer, the senior from Charlotte, with an exciting run for the Bison, and they get it down inside of Rattler territory.
Now, you want to talk about a track stride. Once Jonathan Brewer made the cutback at the 20-yard line, you could see that stride start to open up. 2 strides, he's eating up about 5 yards, showed the speed along the far sideline and demonstrating why he's Howard's best kick returner.
So Brewer puts the Bison right back in business. We'll step aside for a timeout. Rattlers leading at 14-7, but once again, the Bison knocking at the door. This is FAMU football on UBC TV. Live at Green Stadium. The Bison down to the Rattler 10-yard line. A couple of plays elapsed since the break for us here as they get it down to the 10 on the run by quarterback Marcos Moreno. 12:03 remains. Injured player on the field. Will step aside for another timeout. This is FAMU football on UBC TV. Rattlers leading at 14-7. Take a look at the replay of quarterback Moreno has turned this back to the defense. It's turned upside down with a good hit by Justin Cooper, and injured on the play was Moreno.
The backup quarterback for Howard Charles is Ronald Venters. He's out of El Camino Junior College. Last week he was 7 of 12, got some playing time against Savannah State in that blowout.
So Venters handling the snaps now for the Bison. Slot is to his right. Lone setback is Rutherford. Venters with the snap over to Rutherford. Rutherford works it back to the inside, bottled up. Rattlers pull him down at the 9. Let's go to Miranda Jordan. Miranda.
Thanks, Charles. I'm here with LeVar Arrington, outside linebacker with the Washington Redskins. He's out here on the sidelines enjoying his first HBU football experience. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm enjoying myself. It's a very competitive game. I'm enjoying it. I don't know why it took me so long to make it to one.
Now, you've got an opponent tomorrow. You're going up against Tampa Bay. What are your thoughts on that game?
I think it's going to be a hard-fought game, and I have confidence that we'll come out on top.
Okay, let's go back upstairs to Charles.
Thank you, Miranda. Second down.
See if he's going to let Warren Sapp run through their pregame warm-up again.
Well, they said they weren't. On the ground, they give it to Rutherford left side. The Rattlers banging at the line of scrimmage, but Rutherford continuing ahead. Got it near the 5-yard line.
I can't believe that's the first time Arrington's been to an HBCU game.
Why don't you go down there and challenge him on
You go down there and hold my microphone.
What you mean?
Well, if this was in fact his first, he couldn't have picked a better location, because Howard Homecoming is a magnet for students all up and down the East Coast.
No question about that. Third down for the Bison of Howard University. 10:42 remaining in the football game. Bison trying to bring this football game back to even. Rattlers leading at 14-7. Venters with Rutherford behind him. Nunn flanked up top right side. They roll it the way that they give it to Rutherford. Rutherford looking for a block. Cuts it back to the inside. Down near the 2, perhaps the 1-yard line. It'll depend on the mark.
Player down for FAMU.
Looks like Levy Brown.
Maybe Levy Brown. Also a little bit of chippiness at the end of that last play. Judging by the mark, Howard's going to come up with about a 4th and 2 from the FAMU 4-yard line, as Levy Brown is actually being helped up and walking very tenderly back to the sideline.
So Brown shaken up on the play. Simply can't get a condition report on him. Brown suffering with injuries all season long.
You know what's interesting? We really haven't talked about Levy Brown. He's been playing with a tender knee all season. He's also got a very bad shoulder that he's kind of fought through all year. So he's been really hung in there.
Take a look at the replay so you can discern what happened to Levy on the play.
Just a lot of heavy traffic as he seemed to get bent backwards. You can see on his left knee he has a brace. And hopefully he'll be able to continue.
4th and about 3 for the Bison, first down. Venter's going to take the short drop, looking left in the end zone. Pass incomplete. Flag coming in at the end of the play. The Rattlers on the coverage there, batted it away from the receiver. Kwaku did that, but they may be getting him for riding the back of the receiver.
That flag also came in a little bit late as you got a rise out of the crowd seating it in the end zone.
Top of the screen, it was intended for Brewer on the little short route across the middle.
Here's another look.
Right on top of it.
Hard to tell, but you've got to slow that thing down quite a bit to just see the bit of difference. But as it stands, Howard has a 1st and goal, and they're going to mark it just about at the half-yard line.
So they get
automatic first down.
They get Kwaku with the foul on Brewer, so it's 1st and goal to go now for the Bison. 10 minutes remaining in the football game. Three backs behind Venters. Rutherford, the 3rd back. They give it to Rutherford, right side. Rutherford bangs it in for the touchdown for the Bison. They had the 2 fullbacks in front of Rutherford. He found the hole and scored the touchdown for Howard.
With the benefit of the penalty call, which gave Howard a setup, and the very talented Antoine Rutherford with the quick start. Nothing fancy, just off right tackle. And into the end zone for Howard. Now 14-13. Howard calls time, which is interesting, before their extra point attempt. They may be trying to decide on a 2.
We'll see what they decide when we come back. 14-13, Rattlers leading it. This is FAMU football on UBC TV. Bison took the timeout. Looks like the decision is to go for it here. With 9:57 left, instead of the point after, they're going to go for 2. Back in at quarterback is Marino. Tyson's a lone setback. They'll roll it left side. Marino looking for the sideline. He's got a block there. They turn him over. Rattlers push him out of bounds. The Rattler defense is held on the 2-point conversion.
He had a block on the corner, decided to go to the sideline as opposed to cutting it up. Florida A&M, once again, we talk about the team speed. Once he went to the sideline, allowed them enough time to close.
So the Rattler defense yields a touchdown, but on the ever-critical point after, in this case, 2-point conversion attempt by the Bison, the Rattler defense is held. 9:57 remains. Rattlers clinging to the 1-point lead, 14-13 over the Bison. We'll step aside for a timeout. This is FAMU football on UBC TV. Live at Green Stadium on the campus of Howard University. Bison going for 2. They don't convert, so the Rattlers lead at 14-13. And Vaughn Waters getting set to kick away to the Rattlers.
A very curious decision by head coach Ray Petty with 9 minutes and 57 seconds in the 4th quarter.
Kick by Waters, fielded by Kaiser at the 2. Kaiser working it left side now at the 20. Cuts it upfield. Now back to the inside near the 26-yard line. And that's where the Rattler offense takes over. That Bison drive took 6 plays, 33 yards, 2 minutes, 50 seconds off the clock. And Rutherford with a 1-yard run to cap it off.
Speaking of clock, head coach Billy Joe, who we've already talked about calling the plays for FAMU as the offensive coordinator, has an interesting set of decisions now. Does he start thinking clock in his play calling, or does he try to attack and put more points on the board?
Doherty and the Rattler offense back on the field from their own 26. Doherty play fakes in the line, rolling it left side. Now here comes the pressure. Now they flush him back right side. Doherty still rolling. Raises, pumps once, he'll tuck it away and run it. Doherty runs out of bounds near the 37-yard line. Awfully close to that FAMU first down mark.
I think he's got it. I think he's got it.
Doherty up near the 39, and that is enough for the FAMU first. Take up a look at the long and winding replay here. Doherty starts to his left and then back to the right side.
Not particularly fast, Doherty. He has that deceptive speed. He's slower than he looks, but he has enough to get to the sideline and pick up the first.
Slower than he looks. 1st and 10 for FAMU after the run by Doherty. On the reverse, they give it to Miller. Same play from the first half. Miller has to cut it up. May have gotten a yard, but the Bison are ready for it. And they stop him after about a 1-yard pickup.
I kid with Ben Doherty all the time. But from the first conversation you have with this young man, you realize he doesn't do a lot of things but help his team win.
Absolutely. Look at the replay there. Miller on the carry for FAMU. 9 minutes, 30 seconds left in the football game. Rattlers leading it by 1. Rattlers next weekend up in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Now that should be an interesting matchup because A&T, their program is feeling good, very good about themselves. There's some people that feel that North Carolina A&T has one of the best offensive lines in the MEAC.
They're going to reset the clock here at Green Stadium. It'll be 2nd down and 9 for FAMU.
Please reset the clock to 9 minutes, 14 seconds.
FAMU assistant coaches at the sideline.
One thing this game has done for Howard, coming in, they had 11 touchdowns, and 6 of those touchdowns were on defense, so the offense is trying to catch up with the defensive output on the scoreboard.
One of the assistant coaches for the Bison.
9 minutes, 14 seconds.
They're trying to get the clock set at 9 minutes, 14 seconds, as you can hear the referee in the background. The Rattlers going for their 3rd win on the road. We talked about that Lounge Lizard tour. As you take a look at the scoreboard here, Rattlers by 1.
The 4-game road trip that the Rattlers have to go on before they return back to Tallahassee for a homecoming. And right after that, they go back on the road down to, where we headed then? South Carolina State?
South Carolina State, absolutely. So they get the clock set, and we go back to live action. Doherty and FAMU showing shotgun. Slots either side for Doherty. 4 up front for the Bison. Doherty in the pocket. Here comes the pressure. They're trying to set the screen. They got it upfield to Pompey. Pompey pulled down at the 45-yard line. But a nice play call and good selection by FAMU. That'll bring up a 3rd and about 4.
Give credit to Marvin Wooten of Howard getting in the backfield. Let's correct that. Tariq Amin for Howard.
The Rattlers going with no huddle. Snap to Doherty. Here come the Bison. They pick him up at the line of scrimmage. Doherty going to tuck it away and run it himself. Looking for a block at the corner. Down at midfield, and that's enough for the FAMU first.
Once again, nothing fancy for Doherty. He's just one of those players that does what it takes to move the ball down the field. The last player for Howard that had a shot at him, Jesse Hayes, you could see him pound his thigh pads, knowing that he had a shot at Doherty to stop him short of the first down, but Doherty seemed just at the last minute tuck it inside for just enough yardage to pick up the first.
The Rattlers going again with no huddle. 1st and 10 from midfield. Tight slot right side of Doherty.
Cardan Alexander lined up wide to the right.
8:17 remains in the football game. There's the snap to Doherty, looking upfield to his right. Now to the left. Nobody open, dumps it upfield to Pompey, just past the line of scrimmage. Hit immediately at the 47.
And if Doherty was looking to the right side of the field, just at the moment that he was making that short completion to Pompey, Alexander was breaking free right about the 25-yard line.
So Pompey picks up 3 on the pass from Ben Doherty. 7:40 and the clock running. Rattlers give it to Pompey on the misdirection. Pompey working it at the 45. Bison wrap him up at the 45. Stop made by Brian Johnson.
I like the matchup. Howard is running Rontarius Robinson against Cardan Alexander. We've called Robinson's name a few times this afternoon. Alexander, one of FAMU's more talented receivers. He's 6'2".
Robinson makes the stop on Pompey, and Robinson, you'll remember from last year's ball game, had a big interception, 2 of them in the game, to seal the win for the Bison. 3rd down 4 for FAMU now. Doherty with the snap is high. He handles, running all the way. Doherty pushing the pack near the 40-yard line and close to the first down marker.
That smelled an awful lot like a busted play as Doherty took the high snap. It seemed to just flinch to his left as he was expecting someone to be there. Had the presence of mind to just pick it and run it towards the line of scrimmage. Now, based on that mark, and I haven't trusted this chain gang all afternoon. They've been throwing me off. Based on the mark of the chain, he's going to be about 6 inches shy of a first down.
That's your call.
That's my call. I'm sticking to it.
Okay. We get to throw you out of the booth if you're wrong. They're going to measure this one here at Green Stadium. Looks to be short from this vantage point.
Let's jump ahead. If it is short, it'll bring up a 4th and inch call. Would be surprised to see Billy Joe keep his offense on the field.
Doherty with that big body in the area where he could likely sneak it ahead for that amount of distance. It is short of the first down marker.
It's
They're
short
just
by a
trying to
lot
decide
more.
which side of the ball to mark.
Well, okay, about a foot. About a foot. They'll keep their offense on the field.
6:48 remaining in the football game.
From the Howard 41-yard line.
So about the length of a football, or a little bit less, for the FAMU first down.
FAMU has a power back in their arsenal. That's number 32, Paul Sharp, but I don't see him so far in the lineup.
Sharp with the 3 touchdowns last weekend against Jackson State, 2 on the ground and 1 in the air.
They're sticking with Pompey. Terrell Baldwin, number 55, is one of the power blockers up front for FAM. He's 340 pounds. Where Baldwin goes, that may be where the ball's going.
Doherty will go under center, and we'll see what they do. Looks like they're setting it for a sneak. We'll wait and see. Doherty going to try to keep it right side, and it's going to depend on the mark. It will definitely depend on the mark as to whether he got it.
There was a second surge after FAMU made the initial push. Terrell Baldwin was actually the man he ran behind. Let's see what the spot has to hold.
I'm not sure if Doherty got that one. Looking at the chains from the far side, looks like they needed to get it right on that 40-yard line. And that football's short of that. They won't even measure it. Rattlers come up short on that 4th down effort.
They're not even going to measure for it.
It's right about where they started on that 4th down play. So the Bison defense holds, and they give it back to the offense with 6:28 remaining.
That's a huge stop for the Bison defense now. The challenge is thrown back on the shoulders of the Rattler defense. Actually played a strong second half.
Venters back in at quarterback for the Bison now. With the slot to the right. Rattlers 4 up front defensively. And in motion goes Miller. FAMU showing blitz. They drop back. They give it on the comeback route. Brewer took his eyes off the ball. Is it behind the line of scrimmage? Rattlers pick it up. Worley going to pick it up and run it in for the touchdown for FAMU. It was behind the line of scrimmage. They rule it a touchdown for the Rattlers. Brewer took his eyes off it and didn't come back to cover the football. And they're going to rule it a fumble, a flag coming in on the far side of the field, but that may be for excessive celebration.
They're going to get the celebration as FAMU was in the end zone celebrating in front of the HU crowd that's on the hillside. We'll sort this one out, but as you mentioned, presence of mind to advance the fumble, the screen thrown behind the line of scrimmage, and they run that drill time and time again in preseason, and you can see where it starts to pay dividends on plays like that.
Signal has been given a touchdown for FAMU, but the officials conferring there near the 8-yard line. And we'll get the call from downfield.
Cedric Copeland pleading his case with the officials on the far sideline, right about the 10-yard line. We'll sort it out. They're coming way back upfield.
Pass was ruled incomplete pass. There's no touchdown.
You get a collective sigh of relief from the Bison fans here at Green Stadium.
Now watch the line of scrimmage. There's Worley, number 12, taking it all the way into the end zone. He of the orange shoes, but they're going to not only catch them for not returning the fumble, they're going to be penalized. So Howard maintains possession at the arrow on 35.
So a break for the Bison. The initial call downfield was a touchdown, but the linesman had a look at it, and they wave it off.
And Clifton Moore is at the 40-yard line, letting the officials have an earful as they mark off another penalty against FAMU.
They get the Rattlers for unsportsmanlike conduct. So the Bison get 2 breaks on that play.
This is one of those points in the game when you have to get everyone back under control. Everything is kind of getting a little bit unglued here for Florida A&M.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. All right, first down.
So the Bison will have it at the FAMU 45-yard line.
They got to get Cedric Copeland out of the game. He's still trying to plead his case after the second penalty.
6:18 remaining in the contest. Rattlers still lead it by 1. So Venters and the Bison at the FAMU 45. Whistles before they get the play off.
Clifton Moore, defensive coordinator for FAMU, trying to get the referee to the sideline. He was the one that really was not happy with the first call on the fumble, and the return by FAMU for the apparent touchdown. Now you can see the discussion happening on the sideline. He's also not happy that one of his defensive players was penalized. He feels unfairly and wants to get an explanation on the sideline right in front of the FAMU bench. Great shot of it. And there's Cedric Copeland. He's one of the leaders of that defense.
So several sidebars going on down at field level.
And you know what's interesting about that conversation? The referees going over there and talking to him. They got to feel that they have something to defend.
Sure.
Because otherwise you just keep play going.
Sure. No real obligation of feeling that you need to go over and talk.
Howard, meanwhile, back to the line of scrimmage. Now you have the entire officiating crew except for two people. Copeland, as you still see, pleading his case.
And now all the sidebars are broken up. The one with Clifton Moore and with Cedric Copeland. We're ready for football. 6:18 left. First and 10 for the Bison at the FAMU 45. Split backfield behind Venters, and yet another stoppage of play. The lines judge is coming in now.
The chains aren't lined up properly. The chains.
Yep. That'll do it.
So everything just getting a little discombobulated here in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, you got to feel they need to be going the other way with the chains.
The chain gang catches up. They were only about 15 yards shy.
I guess they said, we're going to hold tight right here till you all tell us what the real story.
You got to make sure those chain guys have their checks ahead of time.
So now we're set. Venters with the I formation behind him. It's taken over for Marino. Venters on the delay handoff to Rutherford, right side. Rutherford wrapped up at the line of scrimmage by Cedric Copeland. May have gotten a half yard. So second down, 9.5 for the Bison.
Okay, let's reset. 6 minutes to go in this ball game. FAMU clinging to a 1-point lead. Howard with the ball, driving as a result of just an emotional conundrum for FAMU on the last two plays. They've got a second and long.
Splits either side for Venters. FAMU got 4 up front defensively. Bison got to get it to the FAMU 36 for the first. A long snap count by Venters. Handoff to Rutherford behind the line of scrimmage. Initial hit missed, but John Bama Edwards with the second finish on Rutherford.
Also great penetration by John Torrance, one of the tackles for FAMU. He's wearing number 98. That's the press box. That's Billy Joe.
Taking a look out from the press box. Of course, it's widely known now that Coach Billy Joe coaches from the press box during the course of the game, and you can't argue with the results. 81-34 is his record at FAMU over a 10-year period, and among the elite nationwide in Division I coaching.
3 more wins. He passes Rudy Hubbard.
Third down and 10 for the Bison. Rattler defense being asked to step up and step up big. Venters with the drop, looking upfield now. Rattler's pressuring it. Venters still scrambling, working with left side. Got some real estate in front of him. Raises, fires, got a man complete to Brewer at the 24-yard line. Rattlers had a couple of shots at Venters behind the line of scrimmage, but Venters able to scramble free, and he hit Brewer at the sideline for the first down grab.
As you mentioned, this is the backup quarterback. Venters eluded not just one, but the 2 tackles in the backfield, rolled to the near sideline and picked up enough for Bison first down. 4 minutes, 30 seconds.
So the Bison facing a big third down, and they convert. First and 10 from the FAMU 22. Slot right of Venters. Here comes Gillum in motion. Now back to the right. On the ground, they give it to Rutherford. Left side, Rutherford bangs his way down near the 15-yard line. Copeland on the stop for FAMU. Got some help from Justin Cooper.
Clock continues to roll. Howard with the ball on the ground, confident to give the ball to Rutherford, who has got to be nearing the 150-yard mark.
Take a look at the replay there. Cooper on the stop. But Rutherford with another fine run. Second down. And 3 for the Bison first. They are down to the FAMU 16-yard line. Brewer with one-on-one on Kwaku up top, but they keep it on the ground to Rutherford. One Rattler missed up front. Rutherford fighting to the 15, may have gotten it down to the 14.
Rutherford had 36 carries before that last one for 136 yards.
Gain of 1 on the play.
Got it down to the 15-yard line.
Third down and 1.
That'll make it 3rd and about 1 for the Bison first. 3 minutes, 30 seconds left in the football game. Bison bringing in the bigger package of linemen.
Timeout.
Timeout taken on the field by the Rattlers. 3 minutes, 25 seconds left in the contest. Rattlers leading at 14-13 over the Bison. We'll be back after the break. This is FAMU Football on UBC TV.
Call 1-800-416-8686 to order. Call now.
Back live at Green Stadium. Timeout on the field. Rattlers leading at 14-13. 3 minutes, 25 seconds left, but the Bison face a 3rd down and about 1 from the FAMU 15-yard line.
Howard getting the play call on the sideline, coming to the line of scrimmage directly from head coach Ray Petty. This is a big 3rd and 1 call.
The initial set is trip receivers to the left of Venters. Lone setbacks, Antoine Rutherford. The Rattlers showing a spread 4-man defensive front. Big play both sides of the football. None in motion. Venters going to sneak it ahead himself. Rattlers grab him at the line of scrimmage. Don't think he's got enough for a first down on that play.
That's way short.
Way short as he gets it right back to the initial line.
And you know what's interesting? The wide receiver for Howard may have turned that upfield just a snap count early. It was missed, but you've got to make sure that those wide receivers do not start towards the line of scrimmage before the snap.
Now, in a situation earlier than this, the Bison went for a 2-point conversion as opposed to kicking the point after a touchdown. Here, it looks like they're showing that Waters is going to come on to try the field goal.
Well, if you've got a field goal kicker, this is an automatic try right here. This is for the ball game. You've got 2 minutes and 51 seconds to go.
Put it down at the 22. It'll be a 32-yard effort by Waters.
No wind. Crowd trying to raise and support him.
2:39 left in the football game. Big effort here. High snap. They get it down. Waters with the kick. Plenty of leg on it. Did he get it through? Yes, Waters is good. And the Bison take the lead.
Excellent catch by Sean Miller. Took that high and very slow snap.
So the Bison lead it 16-14 with 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. We'll step aside for the timeout. We'll come back to bring you the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The Rattlers trailing it by 2 to the Bison. I'm sorry, we're still here.
2 minutes, 30 seconds in this ball game. Howard does what he wants. The suspect decision to go for the 2-point try is averted as they complete the field goal.
Now we'll step aside for the timeout. 16-14 lead by the Bison over FAMU. This is FAMU Football on UBC TV.
638-3500. 1-800-638-3500.
The 33-yard field goal effort by Vaughn Waters gives the Bison a 16-14 lead over FAMU. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left in the contest. The Bison set to kick it away to FAMU. Waters with a short kick. Bounce and it'll be fielded by Fisher at the 15. Fisher's got some room. In the middle of the gut he goes at the 30. Fisher up to the 33-yard line, and that's where the Rattlers will take it on offense.
How many times do you see a player bobble a ball and defensive kick coverage teams lose their lanes, converge on the ball carrier? 2 players away, you might see Fisher going the extra yards the other way. But as it stands, let's reset. Howard just scores FAMU with the ball on their own 32, and they've got 2 minutes and 23 seconds to do something with it.
Rattlers from their own 32-yard line. Doherty sets Pompey to the right side. Rattlers lead only a field goal. So that point after attempt could loom large for the Bison, but we'll see. Doherty in the pocket. He'll flush it, run it himself. Doherty at the 40, trying to get to the out-of-bounds marker, but they clip him up and knock him down near the 40. As we take a look at the field goal attempt by Waters that gave the Bison the edge.
The only difference in this ball game, Charles, is Howard's ability to make a field goal, FAMU's inability to convert on a short try as we have a player injured on the field for HU at about the 35-yard line.
The Bison on that drive, and the result, the field goal by Waters, took up 3 minutes 58 seconds off of the clock, 7 plays, 44 yards. And from 33 yards out, Waters connected, and the Bison lead it by 2.
That's Antoine Buffet, one of the defensive leaders for Howard, down on the field, actually face down. Another footnote, everyone is still here. This has been a capacity crowd. There are people on the hillsides that frame the stands here at Green Stadium. There are people on the 4th floor of the School of Business. There are people hanging out of the windows of Cook Hall. It is still a capacity crowd.
FAMU and the Bison played in Tallahassee last year. The Bison won that one 28-24. They broke an 8-game losing streak with the win down in Tallahassee. And right now they lead it by 2 here in the nation's capital.
Well, one of the advantages FAMU has, since they run a no-huddle offense, with a 2-minute drill, they're not doing anything unfamiliar to this scheme. So head coach Billy Joe and his quarterback Ben Doherty got to be feeling very comfortable in their signals. Also a player to watch. It's been very clutch for FAMU. We've mentioned his name, but he really hasn't had a significant impact. Number 9, Cardan Alexander, maybe a player that Howard has to keep an eye on.
And let's remember, the Rattlers don't have to go the length of the field. They can get it into a 47-yard range. That's the longest that Vasquez has hit this year. Anything that's within that, Vasquez will give them an opportunity to take the lead.
The way they're attending to Antoine Buffet down on the field, the entire training staff is out on the field. This has got to be a pretty serious injury. They're still there at about the 40, let's say the 35-yard line, trying to get him back on the field to play, or at least back to the sideline safety.
Buffet, the leading tackler for that Bison team, came into the day's ball game with 40. One of those for a loss, 1 sack, 2 breakups, and 3 fumbles.
Get a look at the Howard University crowd.
2:07 remains in this football game.
What's interesting about this game, after the game, everyone just reconvenes back on main campus for the remainder of Yard Fest, where they have sound system, stage, video screen going on. I understand they're showing this game on the video screen while it's going on, but last year they were showing videos up there.
Take a look at the sequel.
The sequel. You got Brock Newman, who I played ball with, but on the other hand, you have Al McCoy, who actually played in the Negro League. You got to give the advantage to Al McCoy.
McCoy all the way.
You got famous restaurants, Mr. D's, which is no longer on Georgia Avenue, but Shingles, where you've taken me for fried chicken in Tallahassee. Got to give the advantage to Mr. D's, just because he hung in there so long. But let's go down to next to last. You've got the ultimate matchup, Melvin Lindsay or Joe Bullard. Melvin Lindsay, the originator of the original Quiet Storm, and Joe Bullard, the smooth, silky voice of the Marching 100. That may be a push.
I like number 2.
You like number 2?
Up in D.C., you got the White House with George W. And in Tallahassee at the state capitol, you got Jeb. That's definitely a push.
That's definitely a push. They finally get Antoine Buffet off to the sideline, and the applause of the HU crowd. He's walking fairly well, which is good to see.
Second down for FAMU now. 2:04 and the clock running. Rattlers have got to answer. They need at least 3 to get the win. Doherty in shotgun, slots either side. Doherty looking upfield, trying to set the screen. They got it out in the flats to Pompey. Looking for a block at the corner. They force him back to the inside. Pompey's got enough for the FAMU first.
Pompey did an excellent job working against 3 Howard defenders, holding on to the ball tightly. You don't want to turn over. You pick up the first down, you move the chain and stop the clock temporarily.
They'll move the chains up to the 44-yard line. Now they gear the clock up. Slots either side for Doherty. Shotgun is a set. Doherty, quick snap, looking left. Now across the middle, fires upfield. Got a catch by Demps. Demps at the 42-yard line. Or correction, Rod Miller at the 42. FAMU stops the clock momentarily again with the first down pickup and the move of the chain.
Usually you think the go-to receiver is a big guy, but how many times have we seen Rod Miller making the clutch reception from Doherty?
No huddle here, Mark. Rattlers got to get about another 15 yards, and they'll be safely within Vasquez's range. Doherty looking to the left side. Here comes the pressure. They roll him right side. Doherty with the football's got some room there, looking for a block at the corner. Eludes one defender. Doherty pulled down from behind at the 32. So right now it'll be a 42-yard effort.
He had Cardan Alexander at the 30, trying to decide between the run and the pass. Alexander did the smart thing and came back and tried to throw a block.
So Doherty and the Rattlers now at the 32 with approaching a minute remaining. It's all got this flavor of a Delaware State football game. We'll see. Doherty, right side, fires at the corner. Pass is incomplete. Trying to lay out for it was that name you called, Cardan Alexander, but overthrown.
Nothing fancy, just a quick out, trying to stop the clock. It's fortunate that it is incomplete because now it's not so much yardage, but it's also time management.
Third down and less than a yard for the FAMU first down. 59 seconds remain. First order of business is the first down. They keep it on the ground. Pompey, that's enough for the first, but flags coming in at the line of scrimmage. We'll check it out.
Howard may be victimized for having too many men on the field as they were trying to get a sub off at the last minute. So that was the third down that will give the Rattlers the first.
And indeed it was. Too many out for the Bison.
No need.
Rattlers ran it for the first down, but I'm sure they'll take the penalty here. They'll pick up 4 additional.
55 seconds. No need to rush.
Illegal substitution. Defense. 5 yards from the previous spot. That gives them enough for a first down.
If you're Ben Doherty, you want to keep the rhythm this offense has gotten going on this last drive. You want to remind players on every huddle, no turnovers.
Did you say huddle?
That was a halfway huddle. A break, let's say. A break.
Doherty, shotgun for FAMU. Upfield, he's looking. Dumps it across the line of scrimmage. It's batted around and incomplete. Bison almost come away with an interception there. They were trying to go just over the line of scrimmage to Pompey, as they have all afternoon, but somebody got a hand up for the Bison.
Doherty fortunate that ball wasn't picked off. Watch him kind of shot put the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. Didn't have enough arc on it. Player from Howard got a hand on it.
Lawrence Joseph, this junior from Kensington, Maryland, got the hand on it.
Okay, now it gets interesting. 44 seconds.
Second down. 10 for FAMU. They're at the Bison, 27. Doherty going to tuck it away and run it himself. Got some room left side. Turns it inside the 20. Doherty hit hard, but down near the 18-yard line. 38 seconds remains. Doherty close to the first down marker.
Very close to the first down. One of the officials, once again, slow at getting up. We've had 2 shots on officials this afternoon. 33 seconds, according to the scoreboard clock. FAMU with a third and a hair from the HU 18-yard line.
18-yard line indeed. Rattlers took the timeout with 33 seconds remaining. Mindful now they're already within the range of Juan Vasquez, but they have had some difficulties with the snaps.
They've got an entirely new snapper, the freshman Michael Bodie, new holder, Roosevelt Kaiser, who's been pressed into service only for 3 weeks. And that's a combination that makes you just a little bit unsettled if you're head coach Billy Joe.
Sure, you don't want to have to resort to those many exchanges of the football to try to kick the field goal if you can do something else.
Now, let's say this about Vasquez. He's been dependable in the past. He is one of those players that is an all-conference, well, let's say all-former conference MEAC kicker, and has the range. The question is, can you get the ball in a spot that he loves it with the timing that he needs and give him the protection up front?
Timeout was taken by FAMU. They are at the 18 of the Bison.
The crowd is knowing that Howard is on the verge of what would definitely be considered an upset, but they're just a little bit uneasy with FAMU driving under a minute to go.
The Rattlers back onto the football field now. The last 33 seconds remaining in the football game. Third down, less than a yard for the FAMU first. Doherty in the shotgun for FAMU. With the snap, it's high, but he handles. He'll try to tuck it away and run it himself. Caught behind the line of scrimmage by the Bison defense. So now the Rattlers forced, no doubt, to go for the field goal. We'll see.
Timeout. Florida A&M. That's their last timeout.
Here comes Kaiser, here comes Bodie, and here comes Vasquez. So the Rattlers giving the indication they're going to go for the field goal. Long on the season for Vasquez is 47-yard line. 47. They're going to put this one down near the 28-yard line. That'll make it a 38-yard effort by Juan Vasquez. He's hit twice from 42 yards away, once from 47. Has had some difficulty on the mid-range field goal attempts, missed from 20 and 22 yards during the course of the season. This one from 38, and hanging in the balance is this homecoming win over the Bison of Howard University.
The key to this field goal attempt, Charles, is going to be the snap of freshman Michael Bodie. If the snap is on the money, that's the most important component.
And if it is not on cue, Kaiser is going to be mindful enough to pick it up, try to run it. He is speedy. We'll see.
You've got to make adjustments if you're Kaiser. If it's a bad snap, you got to see if you can make the catch and get it in the spot where the kicker wants it.
38-yard effort, perhaps for the game for FAMU. Vasquez whistles at the line of scrimmage. Timeout taken by the Bison. A little mind game going on here now to try to freeze Vasquez.
So fans are rising as one. They understand this is the ball game. This is their homecoming, and they're on the verge of a significant upset in the last meeting between these schools, perhaps for a few years, as FAMU is going 1A next year. So all the MEAC schools have that added incentive to say, okay, this may be the last time we're playing you. We're going to give you our best effort. And so far, the effort Howard's given this afternoon has been an admirable one.
Our next broadcast of FAMU football on UBC TV comes a couple of weeks from now, when the Rattlers are back in Tallahassee. October 25th, Norfolk State comes visiting in its homecoming for FAMU at Bragg Stadium.
You can see the entire Florida A&M sideline, players on one knee, holding hands, trying to generate some of that positive force with this field goal attempt.
And you know the surge is going to be awfully heavy for the Bison at the front line. Concern from the Bison coaching staff. They know this is the play that it's come down to. So we're set now. Kaiser to hold. Vasquez to kick. You'll know. And whistles at the line of scrimmage, and yet another timeout by the Bison.
That's that last timeout.
Vasquez just drops into a squat position, knowing that he's been set. Actually, this is the third timeout, one taken by FAMU, 2 consecutive timeouts by Howard. Vasquez might be better served just go on the sideline and kick it into the net a few times just to stay warm.
Some of the FAMU faithfuls made the trip up to D.C. supporting the Rattlers. And you get the sense from Coach Petty and his coaching staff that they recognize that this is a ball game. They burned 2 timeouts to freeze Vasquez. So if they do get the football back, they won't have a whole lot of time nor timeouts to work with.
It's got to be a lonely spot to be in. You're the place kicker. The entire game is resting on your shoulders, and the only person you have to talk to is Roosevelt Kaiser, your holder. You kind of want to go out and burn off some extra energy by taking a few laps, but Vasquez has done this before. He kicked a very big game winner against Southern University. So he's been in this spot before. This is not new territory.
Take a look at some of the fans inside of Green Stadium here on the Howard campus. They've been treated to a good football game on this homecoming day.
We knew these schools were matched very closely. We got exactly what we expected, a 2-point game, 26 seconds remaining, and here we go for the ball game.
And here we go. 38-yard effort by Juan Vasquez. The wind has kicked up a bit here in Green Stadium. Let's see what happens. Kaiser will hold. Bodie with the long snap. Snap is good. They get it away. Vasquez got it airborne. Did he get it through? Vasquez twisted left side. The Bison retain the lead. Vasquez thought that he hit it. The officials say no, it was pushed left.
And there's a flag
coming in after the play. We'll check that out. But with 20 seconds remaining, the Bison cling to the 2-point lead.
It's interesting that you mentioned the wind kicking up right before they kicked, because the ball seemed to hang just a bit. We're at a strange angle to really get a look at it. But Vasquez swears that he thought he had it.
On the offense, half the distance to the goal, first down.
They call an unsportsmanlike on the Rattler offense. Correction, they call it on the Bison defense is the call as you take a look at Vasquez on the replay. And Vasquez signaling that he thought it was good.
He thought he had it.
And the reaction from the Bison sideline as the call's made that the kick was off. So the Bison get hit for excessive celebration after the missed field goal, but they'll have the football, and all they need to do is get this clock started. And they'll do that with Venters taking a knee here at Green Stadium, and they'll start the clock. Bison with the surprising homecoming win over the Rattlers of Florida A&M. With 3 seconds remaining, the Bison will pull the upset of the weekend over the Rattlers of Florida A&M, 16-14, the final score.
Howard celebrates. FAMU has only to get a few parting shots in with the officiating crew, but a big upset as Howard defeats FAMU by 2 points. 2 missed field goals by Florida A&M, the difference in this ballgame.
Coach Rayford Petty took the 2 timeouts back-to-back to freeze Vasquez. That may have been the difference. Vasquez got it up with enough distance, just didn't have the accuracy.
That may be the difference. And as you look at the flags in the corner of the end zone, that little bit of wind that kicked up, as you mentioned, right before the spot, seemed to make that ball hang and fade as Howard get a look at the players at midfield congratulating one another. But that's a big one for Howard's homecoming.
No question. And the Bison now with 2 wins back-to-back, one over Savannah State 2 weeks ago, and the biggest thus far of the season for them with the win over the Rattlers this afternoon. And the Rattlers falling now to 4-3. And that's the first time that the Bison of Howard have defeated FAMU since 1993 here in the nation's capital.
We talked about the record coming in. These 2 teams have only played each other a few times. Howard came in trailing in the series 21-5, and FAMU had won the last 4 in D.C. So they break that string, and they got what they wanted in giving that going-away gift to the Rattlers.
But you were talking about it all week long leading up to this ball game, and how close you thought these teams were in terms of their approach to the football game. Coach Petty told us that their concentration is on doing the things that they normally do and not make mistakes, and they did it this afternoon. They win at 16-14. We'll step aside for a timeout and come back with more from Green Stadium. This is FAMU football on UBC TV.
Y'all say what?
So, today's the big garage sale. What's the matter with this baby?
I really wanted to keep that, but it doesn't steer right and the nuts are rounded off, so I can't fix it.
I've got just the thing. It's the innovative Craftsman bolt-out damaged nut and bolt remover.
And so here we go, back on offense. It's Ben Doherty, and Ben is going to make something happen, try to make something happen. And, Coach, I know a little later on in the game, you counseled Ben to just go ahead and make the decision to run, take off, because there was big holes for him to run the football.
They were rushing 3 and dropping 8, and it's hard to throw the ball into 8 defenders, but you get a lot of running lanes when they're only rushing 3, and Ben had the opportunity to take advantage of those holes, and he didn't early in the game, but the latter part of the game, he was really burning them to get them to come back off of their zone.
All right, that was Jeff Green pressuring quarterback Marcus Marino to get rid of that football and forces the incomplete pass. And here we go, back on defense once again. There's Leon Scott, and Coach Leon Scott is just having a heck of a season.
Yes, Leon's doing real well. We're very happy to have him here for his last year, his 5th year. He's worked very diligently all throughout the summer and the spring preparing for his last year, and it's good to see that he's having an outstanding season.
All right, second quarter action now. That's Marino, the quarterback for Howard. He's going to look downfield, and boy, that was a big break there. Julian Worley, coach, slipped down, and Travis Gillum. It was an errant pass, and so it ended up incomplete. And here we go. This is, once again, Antoine Rutherford, and boy, he got hit so hard by Brandon Whaley, his shoe popped way up in the air.
Maybe about 40 or 50 yards up in the air. It was amazing how high it went, but he continued to play.